sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. 22 days into LeBron James' NBA free agency, we are at the same point we were in day one, wondering which team he might choose. Agent Rich Paul on the Game Over podcast reminding everybody LeBron won't be rushed into a decision. When he makes it, he makes it. There could be a likely reason behind the lengthy wait for James, says ESPN senior NBA writer Mark J. Spears.
Everything sounds good till you sign. And once you sign, it's done. And for LeBron James, this is the final chapter probably, right? Whether it's a 1 year or 2 year chapter. So I think maybe that is the hesitancy. When you're done, this is going to be the end of your legacy.
NFL Panthers starting right tackle Taylor Moton will be placed on the non-football injury list with a blood clot in his lung. He will miss regular season time. The Brewers do not have flamethrower Jacob Mizorowski as part of their projected starting rotation this weekend against Colorado. Milwaukee is monitoring his workload coming out of the All-Star break, part of its plan to keep him healthy and ensure that the best pitcher in baseball is at full strength come October.
If you run a small business, you've got to try Gusto. Get unlimited payroll runs and get your payroll taxes filed automatically. Offer health insurance, 401k, and more. Get started for free at gusto.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Day 2 here from Radio Row SEC Football Media Days. Let us begin as we do every single day.
What's up on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Well, it is our pleasure to begin day 2 with the commissioner of the Southeastern Conference, Greg Sankey, joining us. Sir, it's always great to see you. Thank you for the time. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
We appreciate you as always. I know you do a million of these, and we appreciate you always making yourself available. I know we have limited time with you, so I'll get right to it. I'd love your impressions on new LSU system president, Dr. Wade Roos, because I know you all are having conversations about LSU's opposition to the PCSA and a lot of things. Can we just start there just with impressions of Dr. Roos?
Very engaging, very engaged in both university leadership and in the athletics leadership. He's quick to call and converse, which is something I appreciate. I think pretty transparent as we communicate. And even around sending a letter to the senators stating, hey, we're not in a position to support right now, we need some changes, was very communicative with me.
So with the letter that he sent, it was co-signed by Lee Mallett, who's the chairman of the LSU board. What do you make of the reasons for their opposition? Or were you all able to talk about that?
Well, I think theirs was written as we're not supporting based on the way the act is written at this point. And that doesn't mean that it's full-on opposition. When I saw drafts, that's my memory. I think the Alabama and Auburn letters use the word opposition. I think we don't support it this time is the right way.
Okay.
And that goes to, in part, Title II, which is about conference expansion and really putting a target on the Big Ten and SEC because of our successes. We view that unanimously as a league is not appropriate. The second is there's this section on pooling of media rights that's been represented as voluntary, but when you actually read the bill, it's not clear that it's voluntary. There's too many trapdoors built into it where somebody could try to force combined media rights. And then there's this football scheduling policy where I don't think the Senate should be legislating football schedules, but if you're really trying to maximize media rights, you wouldn't do that. So I think those are good reasons. And then as we've talked as a league, and this is our entire league, we identified what we think are 7 common sense changes in Title I, the first section, which really deals with the administrative heart of the Protect College Sports Act. And because those are written with gaps or some loopholes, or we're not addressing some of the issues directly, I think that's a reason that we as a league have said we don't support as it's currently written, and we've tried to provide the kind of constructive common sense feedback to improve the bill and make it effective for everybody in Division I.
I believe Texas A&M, Alabama, Auburn, LSU, those are the 5 that have publicly stated opposition?
In addition to our conference-wide statement.
Is the conference's opposition different from the
It's not opposition. We don't support the bill as it's written, so it's
okay.
different.
No, that's look, semantics matter, and I fully respect that. So what do we think is the likelihood or probability of getting the things that you mentioned, that Dr. Roos and Mr. Mallett mentioned, changed before it goes to a vote?
I think there's an opportunity, and the Senate leaders are engaged in problem solving and communication, so that's encouraging. I'm not going to go because I don't have an account on Kelsey to make a prediction bet, but the fact they're still working is,
well done.
is I threw that in there.
Well done.
I hope that doesn't breach some sponsor thing.
Nope, you're good.
I'm not going to go to the prediction market
and
tell you what the percentage is going to be, but the fact they're continuing to work on it is the very least encouraging.
Okay. Commissioner Sankey is with us. The 7 did I write this? The 7 changes that you were interested in?
In Title I, yeah.
In Title I, off the top, are they what are they?
Yeah, one is transparency around NIL reporting and the House settlement. Those go to the College Sports Commission, and in the bill it's limited to national level. That's one. Second is we should have one standard across the country, so that's about preempting state laws around eligibility.
Sure.
Recruiting, tampering, transfers.
Is that not in there now?
Not some of it is,
because as I understand it, that's a big sticking
clear.
point.
Yeah, make it clear. And we're not asking to preempt every state law that applies to college athletics. Third is we should have liability protection, which basically says if Congress passes a law to put these rules in place, because they're writing the rules, then we shouldn't be sued as organizations or associations or institutions for following the law that Congress passes. Fourth issue is there's what's called a private right of action, which is the individual's right to sue. Okay, we believe that should be in federal court, not in state court, so that we have consistent national standards. So you're starting to see the consistent philosophy. We ideally would like new legislation to apply to existing legislation to reduce the number of lawsuits we have, whether that's likely to happen or not. And then there's one that I've completely blown by. Oh, I know it is. It's closed loopholes around, okay, we're defining NIL activity to be overseen, but other forms of payment should be brought into this so that there are limits and caps, because we can't have a competitive structure unless we have similarity and consistency among how we treat whatever standard it might be, eligibility, NIL, revenue share.
I'm sure you're not going to like to exist in a hypothetical, but what if the bill passes as it's currently written?
Well, we'll see, because there is conversation to adjust the elements. We'll have to see the language that is adopted to go to the floor, and then I can answer that question.
Okay.
Because I've been encouraged that the work is taking place. I've been encouraged and remain encouraged by some of the feedback. I think there'll be more changes than what I just listed, if I understand things. And we're going to have to see that text to be able to answer the question. I'm not dodging that. There are probably those who think, I have a real problem that Title II is in there. That's a whole different issue. There haven't been Senate hearings on those issues. I understand why some interest got it put into this bill because of the need in Title I. But let's see what the actual language is. Does
the league have a league-wide policy or a feeling about individual members as it relates to private equity?
We have not pursued that as a league. We don't have limitations on what an institution can do from a financing standpoint. You actually have private equity present on campuses, generally not in athletics.
Right.
We'll have some of these mixed-use developments that are happening around stadiums. We'll have private financing. And we haven't passed a rule or we do have bylaws that say our presidents ultimately are the ones that make decisions for the league, and that's not farmed out someplace. So I guess that would be one piece.
So, but the league as a whole, like it's the the Big 12 reached a league-wide private equity.
Right.
That's not something you're saying that the SEC has pursued at this
Yeah,
point?
we've met with people. We've met with dozens. I've put the logos up every so often to say, okay, here are the deals. And typically the response is, we don't want to give away rights in the future.
Right.
We have a credit facility that will pay off in the fall from COVID, so people didn't have significant sports or personnel cuts. But we haven't been directed to go pursue that. And generally, the money can be achieved at lower rates than what the private financing mechanisms have offered.
Greg Sankey is our guest. How do you feel about coach poaching within the conference?
I'm neutral on it generally because it's happened. You know, we had Dan Mullen move from Mississippi State to Florida. You had the Texas A&M coach move to Texas. That caused some news in baseball.
Yep.
We've had Cal move from Kentucky to Arkansas. I go down the list. We've had ADs make a move. You know, Scott Woodward from Texas A&M to LSU. I do think it should be done in an orderly process. I don't think while the team's playing that we should just sit on the sidelines any longer. And I was asked about that in early December by members of Congress who started drafting legislation, which is in bills, both the SCORE Act and the Protect College Sports Act, to change that time frame. And if we all operated on the same time frame, that would become, I think, a net neutral. But you also have to manage the transfer portal and the tampering that happens around things in the recruiting environment, because that's what drives this behavior. Matt, I wouldn't have been on 15 years ago when early signing was first being talked about, but my continual warning is if you put early signing for high school kids into December, you're going to accelerate the hiring and firing decisions.
Yes.
And guess what we did? We accelerated the hiring and firing decisions. So we ought to hold ourselves accountable, not just point fingers at everybody else. But I think we can find a more orderly way to do these things.
What would be the ideal time frame?
Well, after a team's season is complete.
Is that possible?
In general? It is, but you have to shift a lot of things, right? You can't just stand pat on where we are. You have to shift a lot. And we accelerate this because of the recruiting dynamics, right? You have to get people ready to go from a recruiting standpoint.
Greg Sankey's with us here for a couple more minutes. You mentioned tampering. How would you feel about a legal tampering period like we see in the NFL?
I think what's needed is a clear vision on what we desire around tampering rules, not kind of the old way that we tinker around with some rules and we have harsher penalties from the NCAA. I think that's the completely wrong way to address this issue. So what has been introduced is like a communication period, and then you enter the actual transfer portal period. Can that work? Sure. But we have to have a way to monitor everybody in the ecosystem. And the NFL has agent certification, where if you engage in certain behaviors, you're out. You can't represent someone. Can the NCAA ever achieve that? Can you do that at the conference level? Perhaps. Then we have to, from an accountability standpoint, rather than say we need harsher penalties for like a first offense, we need a warning. We need a first offense, a second offense where it's more aggressive, third offense where it's even more aggressive, and people start to be held accountable. And I think accountability should be on two sides. One is on the coach involved, and the other is on the player involved. Because I've watched some of these matters that have been reported, and a player's got somebody around them that they've allowed to exist and reach out and engage in activity. And you start to read the narrative, and you're like, you know what, there's one person who could have stopped this whole process, and that's the young person who could have said, you know what, you're not authorized to go out and represent me that way. So I think there has to be a rethinking of how this problem is approached.
It's interesting because there was the most notable public allegation of tampering was the Ole Miss Clemson back and forth with Dabo Swinney in his press conference. I know from your perspective, you even mentioned it in your remarks yesterday, not specific to tampering, but I think it was with regards to potentially breaking away. Is that you rather conversations stay behind closed doors and maybe on a Zoom call? Is there a way that could happen and to where it's not public, where you could reach some type of resolution?
Oh, sure. We've provided information where a school has shared tampering information with us, and a lot of times it goes nowhere. But yeah, it can be done, and people make decisions to make things public for their own purposes generally. And I think in my role, we all live in glass houses right now around tampering. My coaches tell me in every sport, hey, here's what's going on, here's how it plays out. There's a lot of people around the players that are making phone calls trying to drum up business. Our basketball coaches had a conversation and said, look, you can tell in like early December if somebody realizes they're not going to get a lot of playing time that they're out there trying to figure out what the next business opportunity is, if you will, where they're going to go play next. So, I would encourage people to be careful when they go to the microphone.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of communication happening because this culture has changed. And if somebody decides to make it public, that's their decision. But I think there are more effective ways to deal with these problems.
Similarly, I wanted to ask about Ole Miss Athletic Director Keith Carter, who publicly mentioned 2 LSU players that transferred from Ole Miss to LSU have not paid the buyouts, accused of not paying the buyouts. I guess we don't know definitively. I don't have any reason to believe he's lying. Those conversations happening publicly. How do you feel about that?
Well, I don't know if those – we have at least one lawsuit in the league about an unfulfilled payment involving 2 other schools. So if you're going to file litigation and you've got contract law to deal with, okay. I don't think I in Destin said, you know what, we need to be talking about your own programs. That's your responsibility. It's not to comment on everybody else. And I think Keith can make an argument, well, it is our program. We had a contract and people walked away and they owe a buyout if that's true. And I understand that. But we do need to understand as these contracts are being signed that they do carry implications. We have athletics directors with buyouts that are required to be paid. We have coaches with buyouts that are required to be paid. And now we have players with buyouts that are required to be paid.
You coming to Baton Rouge week 1?
Yeah, that's the plan. Yeah. Yep. Be a big night.
It's going to be a really fun night. It'll be really fun to watch football.
Not talk about name, image, and likeness for a few hours, right?
Or the Protect College Sports Act, or any of the other things. All of it. But it's what you and I guess we all signed up for. We always sincerely appreciate your time.
Thanks,
Thank
Matt.
you.
Thanks for being here.
That is the Commissioner, Greg Sankey, joining us for a few minutes. Again, always very generous with his time here as we start day 2 at SEC Football Media Days. Our coverage is presented by FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, Championship Health Partner of LSU Athletics, Parish Construction and Roofing, Relief Windows, reliefwindows.com, proud partner of LSU Athletics, and Rev Fiber, proud partner of LSU Athletics. We're going to knock out a quick break. The head of officiating for the Southeastern Conference, John McDaid, is set to join us here in just a few minutes. So we are rip-roaring straight out the gate here. We are live from Radio Row, day 2 of SEC Football Media Days. We've got a lot coming up as well. Brooks Austin, the film guy, is going to be with us. Very much looking forward to that conversation as well. Well, X and O, some stuff there with Brooks. We're looking forward to that conversation. Chris Doering, Marty Smith, we visited with Marty, and I basically just said, Marty, tell me the story of Thanksgiving weekend in Oxford. Go. And for like 8 minutes, he just went, and you're going to hear that coming up at the top of hour number 3. Stay with us here. It is AFR.
AFR.
Tuesday shows here from Radio Row, brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. Spell it at O-N-E, 1hourbr.com for River City's 1 Hour Air. I don't know what the weather's like back home, but it's 92 right now in Tampa. Kind of windy. We actually avoided some rain today. It's been raining, but the heat is oppressive. The humidity is incredible. And if you are sweating through it, you got to make sure your AC is ready to stand the test of the triple-digit temps throughout the summer months. Call River City's 1 Hour Air if you have any issues with your AC. 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. The big yellow vans and trucks with the giant clock on the side, they'll never charge you extra to come out nights, holidays, and weekends. They're the best. More than double the amount of 5-star Google reviews of the next closest competitor. It's River City's 1 Hour Air, 752-0001, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
Raising Cane's is honoring Chuck Norris on National Chicken Finger Day. For every box combo sold on July 27th, Cane's is donating $1 to Chuck's Foundation, Kickstart Kids.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, we know each case and client are unique, and that no two cases are the same. But one thing remains constant, and that is our passion to help our clients. After an accident, we know your life has changed, which is why we passionately fight to make you and your family whole. Remember, whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555. We're here to serve you.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product's always customer satisfaction. Come visit us at reliefwindows.com. By the way, we do shutters too.
Are you ready for an internet experience that actually keeps up with you? Then you're ready to step into a new kind of reliability with Rev Fiber. When your internet works, the possibilities open up, and suddenly everything feels more connected, just the way it should be. Seamless enough to keep up with every swipe and every click, anywhere you are. So leave the buffering behind. 100% fiber, 0% runaround, where support is still personal. Rev Fiber. Visit revfiber.com.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
Hey everybody, Drew Brees here. Over the years, I've learned that the best teams are built on trust, preparation, and doing things the right way. That's one of the reasons I'm excited to announce that the Breeze Dream Foundation and I are partnering with Parish Construction and Roofing. Together, we are committed to helping families prepare for hurricane season. That's why Parish Construction and Roofing, the Breeze Dream Foundation, and WAFB are partnering to provide one capital area family with a brand new fortified roof. Visit WAFB.com/contest to enter the giveaway.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Live from the 2026 SEC Football Media Days in Tampa, presented by FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, Relief Windows, Rev Fiber, and Parish Construction and Roofing.
Yeah, I've actually been saying that for a long time to our president and our administrators that, my frustration is I sit in a meeting, and so many times I sit in a meeting, and I learned this, I think 11 years ago, my first SEC head coaches meeting. I had a coach tell me, we will not get anything done in these meetings because we don't have any power or any control. We sit and say what we want, but that doesn't necessarily come to fruition. So I've learned that, until we get governance and we have someone that actually has the power to make decisions, or we can make decisions within our own community, we're not going to have much control. And that's unfortunate, but that's where we sit right now. And if that's the best alternative to get everybody playing by the same rules, then I would want to do that.
Kirby Smart on Get Up here on Tuesday, and it was Georgia's turn at the podium, and naturally there's a lot of conversation about Georgia, which over the past decade has been the preeminent SEC power. Of course, they'd won back-to-back national titles, and but for stubbing their toe in the conference championship game, might well have won a third consecutive a few years ago. But the conversation there with Kirby Smart started because of what Greg Sankey said at the podium to open SEC Media Days on Monday, when he talked about the breakaway comments. That, of course, was Kirby and the leadership there at the University of Georgia. And what's so interesting, and I bring this up only to say, we kind of refer to this time as talking season, and I get it. We're all excited about football because they're about to tee it up, kick it off, and we're going to play football and have 5 months of imbibing on football, and it's going to be amazing. But during talking season is when a lot of these coaches, administrators, whomever it may be, they know that they have everyone's attention. So this is when you will start to see them stump for certain things that, whenever we first started coming to this event in 2012, Commissioner Mike's Live, I learned that lesson from him when he would have his State of the Conference address to open media days, and there was always a point or two, be it saber rattling or whatever. The funny thing is, at the time, the big thing was cost of attendance. It's when they wanted to be able to cover student athletes' full cost of attendance, basically giving them a stipend to cover the cost of attendance, and the non-power programs couldn't afford it, so they didn't want to do it, and Mike's Live basically said, you're going to do this or we're just going to break away. So it's interesting that some 15 years ago, these conversations were being had loosely, but it's mostly about the tail wagging the dog. And the SEC and the Big Ten are the preeminent powers in the sport. They have the biggest brands. They make the most money. They drive revenue and attention and all the things. And they don't want terms dictated to them by the other leagues, by the ACC, the Big 12, the Pac-12, the Mountain West. And when you think of it, it stands to reason. And so, Kirby, I think I appreciate very much his transparency. And there's a guy with a ton of clout and credibility as a two-time national championship winning coach, and he's played for another, and a guy who people listen to when he speaks. You look around college football, and with Nick Saban retired and some of the more veteran coaches, you look at this era of Kirby and Dabo and Ryan Day. I mean, these are the coach, Lane Kiffin, that are the coaches with the loudest voices, the biggest megaphones here in this era. And so you heard Kirby say it, whereas the commissioner said on the podium he would rather a situation where those conversations are had behind closed doors or on a Zoom and left there. But Kirby said you do those and then nothing happens. And so all that to say, it's very intentional when coaches or players or administrators make these types of comments at media days or otherwise, because they are trying to generate conversation and attention and awareness around the change that they want to see. Listen, I know today we're here and it's so much more interesting to talk about, can Gunnar Stockton take that next step? Vanderbilt's here today. What's life like without Diego Pavia? South Carolina was on the doorstep of the playoff 2 years ago and a massively disappointing season a year ago with Lenora Sellers, and it feels like Shane Beamer has got to have a breakthrough this season. Auburn, 5 straight losing seasons. Now comes Alex Golish. So can Byron Brown get Auburn back to bowl eligibility in year one as the starting quarterback? Those are things we want to talk about, and we're going to talk about, and we're going to do all the football stuff because, that is why we're here. We also, two things can be true. It's not a comma but. It's a period, new paragraph, because both things are true. We are in the most transformative time in the history of the sport that we all love. And this is one of those times where we look at things like governance and the Protect College Sports Act and NIL and things like private equity and rev share and how does it all work, and then Kirby talking about the future of the college football playoff and who will have autonomy and all of those things. And they all blend together because however this shakes, and this is the most seismic shift, this is the greatest seismic shift in the history of college athletics, which we're seeing right now. But the last time we saw something this big was the summer of 2011 when we saw the first really big round of realignment, when Missouri and Texas A&M came into the SEC, or announced they were coming into the SEC, when it looked like Texas and OU might be going to the Pac-12. They ended up staying in the Big 12 when Nebraska and Rutgers went to the Big 10. I think Maryland followed. But anyway, that was 15 years ago. And this is even more seismic than that, but that dominated an entire offseason because it reshaped the landscape of college football. So too will this. Whatever happens with the Protect College Sports Act and the idea of private equity and funding in college athletics and all that stuff, it matters so much because ultimately when this dust settles, it will dictate how the teams that we all cheer for and love and watch continue to perform, how they build rosters, how they pay their players, how coaches manage, and the domino effect and the ripple effect therein. So appreciate Kirby for being vocal and having the conversation. Okay, it is After Further Review. We're glad to have you aboard with us here. We're brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com. A taste of summer is coming up this Saturday at every Rouse's location from 11 to 2. That's all 76 locations from Lake Charles to Orange Beach. It's going to be awesome. They're going to have tons of summer-inspired samples throughout every restaurant. We're talking about different things like smoked sausage, fresh cut watermelon and dragon fruit, seafood cocktails, cheese samples, sardines, I'm a big fan, snowballs, ice cream toppings, seasonal hatch chili favorites, summer dips, so much more. Make sure this Saturday, 11 to 2, you get by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints, for a taste of summer. Rouse's.com. Rouse's. This feels like home. All right, we're here from Radio Row at SEC Football Media Days. Tuesday shows are powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. We were supposed to have the the coordinator of football officials, John McDaid, with us here, and I don't see him. So we're just going to proceed with the show. So if you can join us, awesome. We'll get him when we do. But let me knock out a quick break. We'll continue when we come back. Stay with us here on a Tuesday edition of AFR.
AFR.
Hey, I always want to remind you about our friends over at Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness, yourgoodwood.com, because what they do over there is help men feel their best and live their most optimal life. Yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com. Lowest prices, never any contracts. It's so important to remember. If you are paying for hormone replacement therapy and you're not at Goodwood, you're probably overpaying. Remember, there are no membership fees. So if you're currently at a clinic that has a membership fee, leave immediately. That's number one. Number two, if you're not at Goodwood, you're overpaying because they have the lowest prices. And then number three, remember also when you do your blood labs every 6 months, if the clinic you're currently with charges you for those blood labs, remember Goodwood, they pick up that cost. So it will be a better customer service experience, more convenient, more cost-effective. It's Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the new 2025 Jeep Wrangler with $18,000 off MSRP.
$18,000 off Jeep Wrangler plus the 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles.
If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Ever wonder why cane sauce doesn't come in a pre-sealed packet? It's because it's made fresh inside every Raising Cane's every single day. Because when you make it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love.
People think it's all about game day, but the real work happens in the off season. And we need a healthcare team that works as hard as we do.
At FMOL Health, our lay of the lake, we take care of LSU football year-round.
We trust the lake.
Community sailing is all about getting people in the New Orleans area out on boats, out on Lake Pontchartrain. Gulf Coast Bank helps us provide opportunities to get folks out who might not otherwise have the financial means to come sailing. Auctions in August is an online fundraiser that helps nonprofits like us service the community. Bidding through Auctions in August is a lot of fun because there's so many different items. There's something for everyone, so you're sure to find something that relates directly to you that you'll enjoy bidding on, and you get to help out the community.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product's always customer satisfaction. Come visit us at reliefwindows.com.
Need a steel building? Proform Steel. I want you to remember the name. Why use Proform Steel? Well, I got tons of reasons. Here's a few. How about the lead times? 6 to 8 weeks from signed contract out the door. They'll get it to you quicker. Free delivery on every building. You buy it from them, they'll deliver it for free. It's Proform Steel. You can even order online. You can pick the style, size, color, doors, submit the form, get a call back the same day. And at Proform Steel, they use American-made materials on everything. No exceptions. It's Proform Steel. Maybe you need a shed in your backyard. Maybe we're talking about a big industrial facility. Need a steel building? You want Proform Steel. Make sure you call Brandon Golson, you know the name, at Proform Steel. Check them out, Proform Steel.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Live from the 2026 SEC Football Media Days in Tampa. Presented by FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, Relief Windows, Rev Fiber, and Parish Construction and Roofing.
Our coverage continues from Digital Drive, Day 2, SEC Football Media Days. John McDaid, the coordinator of football officials for the Southeastern Conference, good enough to stop by. How are you, sir?
I'm doing awesome. How are you doing?
Doing great. So we were talking before we came on air about your experience with Lane Kiffin. Were you still on the field when he began as a head coach at Ole Miss?
No. He was
I'm trying to think. I came off the field in 2019.
So COVID year was his first year at Ole Miss.
That's correct. That's correct. Which was my first year in this role.
Okay. So, but you did remember him from his days as an OC at Alabama.
That's correct.
Do you ever have interactions on the field with coordinators?
Sometimes you did. Many times you did not. But sometimes you did. The times that you did, more times it was because it was a coach you knew each other for 10 or 15 years, right? The coordinators are coaching. It's one of the great things about football is that every down they need to think about what they need, what play to call, right? Whereas maybe in basketball, where it's more free-flowing, the coach at times has more times to bend the official's ear, right? Because he doesn't have to think about making a play call, right? So the coordinators, typically you don't hear from them as much. There's exceptions, but they're just, my experience, defensive coordinator, he's got to make sure he's got someone with him that's got to run defensive matchup substitutions when the offense, substitutes. So not so much. And Coach Kiffin was not one of the ones as a coordinator. He'd make eye contact every once in a while, or he'd ask me a question or whatnot. But I was a referee at the time as well, right? I was in the middle of the field. I used to joke with the sideline guys, what are you trying to tell me? They actually yell at you over there, right? There's no problems out here in the middle of the field.
Who was the biggest pain in the behind?
There was never any pain.
There were.
No. Look, you
were never like, God, we got them this week.
Well, in all honesty, and I used to have this conversation at least once a season with my crew. You can't allow yourself to develop a prejudice against a coach like that because you're never going to be able to do the best you possibly can do for them, right? You always had to find a middle ground, and that was one of the reasons why I stopped reading. Like, if there was a journalism piece about college football that was talking about trends or it was based on facts or whatnot, that's great. But if it was a piece that it was a bunch of opinion on how I thought a coach was doing during the season or whatnot, I didn't read it because all it was going to do is create a prejudice that was going to be in the back of my head, and when things got hot, it would creep in. I prided myself. In fact, it's the one thing I miss from being on the field. People ask me, "Do you miss me on the field?" And I really don't. I haven't second guessed myself making a decision to come off and take this position. But I do miss conflict resolution. For some reason, going to someone that just wants to tear your head off and go have a conversation to calm things down. I don't pretend for a moment I'm going to convince him I'm right and he's wrong. But at least if I get to him where we agree to disagree and he calms down and we go for it, I miss doing that, right? And I never got to where, and I'm using never correctly here, I never got to where I dreaded going and having that conversation because I couldn't do my job if I ever got there.
I know fans exist in a mindset where the officials are out to get us, the officials are never right. It's a fan mentality, and I understand that. Do you, when you're dealing with coaches, how? Well, I can certainly appreciate never wanting what you said about never wanting to read something to have a bias filter through, but how much does the environment of the game affect how an official calls a game?
Well, someone who's been in the Southeastern Conference for 5 years, very little. Right, because they've experienced it now for 5 seasons, right? But I can tell you, Commissioner Sankey usually spends a quarter on the field. It's usually one of the quarters in the first half, and he'll be at games where the crowd noise is just palpable, right? It actually, you feel it in your bones. And he's asked me questions before. He's like, how do you know an official can officiate in front of that? Or how do they keep their wits about them, right? And I tell him, I says, look, I can go and look at an official that is working at a lower level. Maybe it's just he's working in which is now the group of 6, right? And very good official. I got a lot of game film on him. Looks very good. Good mechanics. Moves well. Makes a lot of terrific judgment calls and whatnot. But how do I know that he can go in front of 105,000 people and keep their wits, as they go through 3.5 hours of football game? You don't know until you give them an opportunity to do it. Yeah. And it is an acquired ability to keep your wits. But I can tell you, I got to the point where people would. I had games where people say, what did you think at this moment? Or they would be referring to something that wasn't going on directly in front of me on the field. Yeah. And I'm like, well, what are you talking about? Like, I just had blocked everything out. And I'll tell you one thing that's really helped us is when I first started officiating the FBS level in 2001, teams were universally still huddling. right? And you had that 8, 10, 12-second pause almost every down where you could just look around and take it all in. Now with the tempo of our offenses and dealing with substitution mechanics and everything else we're doing, you never get that moment other than the media timeouts to actually look around and have that stuff affect you. You're too busy working your craft and doing what you have to do. So it's not for everybody. I'm not saying that everyone that we asked to come work in the Southeastern Conference, they wildly succeed in that environment, but you don't know until you give them the opportunity.
Yeah. John McDaid is our guest, the coordinator of football officials for the Southeastern Conference. Every year, part of your duty here is to talk about relevant rule changes that are coming into college football. What are the most notable things that a fan will recognize? Like the new kickoff rules was a giant thing when that happened. Like, is there anything notable that a fan will recognize this year?
The big thing that they're definitely going to recognize is the fact, not the definition or the requirements for targeting, but the penalty for targeting. If you're a first-time offender, you no longer are going to have the possibility for a first-half carryover disqualification for your next game. So no matter when you create targeting, if it's your first offense that season, you just disqualify the remainder of the game, you're eligible for the next game. If you're a second-time offender, no matter when the foul has, you are going to sit out the first half of that next game. And then if you're a third or more time offender, you're going to sit out an entire game for the next one. So how much should you expect people hitting penalty number 2 and penalty number 3? Over the last 5 years, we've averaged just under 6 players that got 2 targeting fouls across the entire season, across all of FBS.
Okay, so not just SEC.
Not just SEC, all of FBS.
So 6 players have had 2 targetings.
Across all of FBS. No player for 5 straight seasons has had 3 or more.
Got it.
So another way to look at this is all the targets you've seen, any game in FBS over the last 5 years, 95+% of them have been first-time offenders and would not be subjected to that first-half carryover disqualification should the foul have happened in the second half. Fans are definitely going to recognize that.
Yeah. My contention has been I believe the spirit of the targeting rule is good. We want to eliminate dangerous plays. Not physicality, we want to eliminate dangerous plays. I think it is I think it's far too punitive to remove someone from a game when it's unintentional. Or I think this change at least opens the door toward the conversation to where we could get to a point where we see like a targeting 1 and targeting 2 where there is some subjectivity. Like a flagrant 1, flagrant 2 in basketball?
I'm not going to give you an opinion on that. I'm going to give you a non-answer to that. But I'll say this. It is an experimental change to the penalty, right? At the end of 26, caretakers of the game will look at statistics such as targetings per game in 26, how to compare to the last 5 to 10 years. The statistics of how many second and third and more time offenders, did that increase or decrease or whatnot? And they may elect to extend it as an experimental rule for 27. They may elect to make it a full-time rule or
Sure.
officially adopt it for the rule book. Once we get there and see that by reducing the penalty like we're doing this year doesn't decrease the deterrence, then we may get more comfortable talking about what you just asked me, right? But this is the necessary first step, because if any of the data points to that it doesn't deter, the penalty doesn't deter much as it did in 25, we're going to go back to right where we were in 25.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so I'm just going to ask it a different way, a different question. Do you feel, if you go back to, you were talking about the mechanics of officiating, do you feel like if you're officiating a football game, that you could determine real time what is dangerous and intentional and what is unintentional but reaches the level of targeting?
This is why it's a reviewable aspect of the game, right? Let's face it, targeting is something that is a replay aspect of our game. Even if we do call it on the field, it's the only reviewable aspect of the game where the replay officials are not asked to assume the ruling on the field is correct until there's clear and obvious video evidence that it's not. We ask them, disregard. The flag has basically created a stop in the game to allow you to, on your own, determine whether there's a target or not. I was the official on the field that threw the roughing the passer with targeting against Devin White in 2018, right? That play, there was a couple more that year. That play was what led to removing that assumption that the ruling on the field is correct and asking the replay official to evaluate all aspects of targeting to confirm it, right? So it's no longer do we have the ability in real time just looking at it once, because we're reviewing all aspects of it in the replay booth. I'm very comfortable with the way we've defined targeting. I'm very comfortable with the work that we do in the replay booth. I know we don't always agree we don't always agree and have to agree to disagree with the schools when we're reviewing something. I get it, right? I also believe fully that the rule has changed the behavior for the better for the players, and it's working. The question now is by reducing for first-time offenders this carryover disqualification, does the deterrence go down? Yeah. If the answer is no, that's a really good thing, and we can possibly move forward to make this an official part of the rule book, and then maybe talk about, you asked about a flagrant one approach. Only by taking this incremental step and seeing what effect it has at the game, good, bad, or indifferent, could we get to that next step.
Went to Mass the day after the LSU-Mississippi State, the targeting on Devin White, and the priest, after the sign of the cross and opening Mass, had said, Tigers made us wait too long last night to put that one away, and I wasn't targeting.
That's what makes this game so the passion, and the emotion.
Father Phil, shout out! It was so good.
I was probably bleary-eyed on a flight from New Orleans back to Washington when the priest was saying that.
John McDaid, the coordinator of football officials. This is fun. We appreciate the time as always. Is there anything else that the SEC football fan that they love that they need to know about rule changes for this year?
There's some other rule changes. I try to focus on when you have these kind of discussions. What will the fans actually notice? The targeting one's the big one.
Yeah, for sure.
The coaches are talking a lot about the change in numbering exceptions for punts, and I think the fans are taking note of it because the coaches are talking so much about it. But if the coaches weren't talking about it, I don't know if the fans would even pick up.
Sure.
That the fact that we're asking for more stringency when they're using numbering exceptions. But no, the game's in a pretty good place. The evolution on the coaching side, how they're asking the players to play the game, the techniques, it's fast. The velocity is as much as I've ever seen it, right? And it's a challenge for us as officials to understand it. I sent my officials, we had our clinic last week, our preseason clinic last week with our officials, 2.5 days in Birmingham, Alabama. And one of the last things I asked them to do is look, we just discussed for 2.5 days how I'm interpreting the rules, how I want you to interpret the rules, what our approved rulings are, what our judgments should be, so on and so forth. Now the important thing is go visit our schools and all, work scrimmages, and find out how our coaches are interpreting the rules, right? Because that's the intersection between what we are train and develop and then what we're going to do on the field. Go ask the coaches how they're interpreting this new rule for numbering exceptions, and you'll be in a better position to anticipate what's going to happen come Labor Day weekend.
John, it's a pleasure. Thank you so much for the time.
Thank you. Best of luck and enjoy your 26th season.
I think we're going to do that. It will not be boring in Baton Rouge. Seldom is. He's John McDaid, the coordinator of officials for the Southeastern Conference. We appreciate a couple of minutes with him. Our coverage all week here from Radio Row at SEC Football Media Days is brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake Championship Health Partner of LSU Athletics. Rev Fiber and Parish Construction and Roofing. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll come back and wrap up hour number 1 on AFR.
After further review.
GLO. GlowResources.com, GlowResources.com. Complete employer solutions. It's Glow Resources. That's where you can find them. Remember, if you're hiring, Glow Resources, what they do is they work for you, the employer. They're not a temp staffing agency. They work for you, the employer, to help you find the right employee. You put the right people, the right seats on the bus. That's how you maximize efficiency and productivity within your business. It doesn't matter what business you're in, and Glow Resources can help. If you're looking for skilled blue-collar labor, Glow Resources. Remember their professional placement division. Any type of white-collar office job, from an office assistant all the way up to the C-suite, Glow Resources can help. And yes, home base is in Baton Rouge, but they have offices all over the Southeast. Recently named one of the top 100 private companies in Baton Rouge in the Baton Rouge Business Report. It's Glow Resources. So check them out online at glowresources.com. GLO, glowresources.com. glowresources.com, complete employer solutions.
Jordan Faber here with some exciting news. Faber Automotive has officially arrived. We're proud to introduce your new hometown dealership, Faber Chevrolet GMC. That means more inventory, better deals, and the same great local team. Now backed by the trusted Faber family name. Whether you're shopping or servicing, you'll feel the difference from day one. Allow us the opportunity to earn your business.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Visit us in St. Francisville or online at FabryChevrolet.com.
As a business owner, you're always focused on how you can improve the bottom line. Well, when was the last time you shopped your insurance coverage? Insurance Network of Louisiana can help. If you're a business owner, let my friends at Insurance Network of Louisiana see if they can find you better coverage for less money. They always offer exceptional customer service and partner with only the best providers. So check them out online today at lainsurance.net.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product's always customer satisfaction. Come visit us at ReliefWindows.com. By the way, we do shutters too.
Raising Cane's is raising $1 million on National Chicken Finger Day for Chuck's Charity Kickstart Kids. Join us July 27th and help us continue Chuck Norris's legacy.
Chuck was a personal friend of Todd and the brand, and I know this would have meant the world to him.
Hey everybody, Drew Brees here. Over the years, I've learned that the best teams are built on trust, preparation, and doing things the right way. That's one of the reasons I'm excited to announce that the Breeze Dream Foundation and I are partnering with Parish Construction and Roofing. Together, we are committed to helping families prepare for hurricane season. That's why Parish Construction and Roofing, the Breeze Dream Foundation, and WAFB are partnering to provide one capital area family with a brand new fortified roof. Visit WAFB.com/contest to enter the giveaway and view official rules and eligibility requirements. Because stronger homes build stronger communities.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Lockmeyer, Deshaun Fagan and Associates has won for our clients over $175 million over the decades, but our greatest success is our clients who have chosen and trusted us to help them. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call. You've got nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan. If you get injured, you could be staring at medical bills, repair costs, and lost income. Life can be turned upside down. At Lockmeyer, Deshaun Fagan and Associates, we'll work to turn your world right side.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Live from the 2026 SEC Football Media Days in Tampa, presented by FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, Relief Windows, Rev Fiber, and Parish Construction and Roofing.
Wrapping up hour number one here from Digital Drive, what they formerly called Radio Row at SEC Football Media Days. Thanks to John McDaid for joining us. And if you missed the conversation, I would highly recommend you go back and check that out. The convo about targeting is interesting because my contention with the targeting rule is, forever there was never a willingness to bend because the issue was player safety. And if ever they altered the rule, the perception, even if not reality, the perception would be that they are not considering player safety. Again, I disagree with that. And I've always appreciated the spirit of the targeting rule, what we are trying to do. We're trying to eliminate dangerous plays from the game. And I think everybody can be okay with that, can understand and appreciate that. The challenge has been what John brought up is a perfect example and an illustration. The Devin White play. He said he was the white hat who threw the official on the Devin White play against Mississippi State in 2018. No one, no sane person can look at that play and say that was a dangerous, violent, malicious act that warrants an ejection and sitting out the first half of the next game. There is no reality where that is a logical thought. However, by the letter of the law, right? Forcible contact, head or neck area, and so Devin went, to the face mask of the quarterback and then pulled off. But by the letter of the law, that was targeting. But that's the absurdity of the rule. But they were never going to change it because of the layered-in perception. Because the fear has always been litigation. Think of the NFL with the concussion lawsuits, right? The concussion lawsuit settlement in the NFL. that's what's always no one will ever acknowledge that, right? But that is always the motivation, along with trying to make the game safer. But whenever they're willing to make the change that John alluded to the targeting rule this year, it is an open door into saying, okay, well, if you're willing to take this step and it goes well, then you take another half step. And then maybe another. No different than my thought as it pertains to the college football playoff. Going to the 4-team playoff meant the door was always open to go to 12. And going to 12 means the door's open to go into 16 or 24 or whatever that number may be. So the fact that they are changing the targeting rule this year, even experimentally, says the door is open ultimately getting to what is the right way to do it, which would be like a flagrant 1, flagrant 2, a targeting 1, targeting 2, where you can determine malice or intent. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Parish Restoration, parishrestoration.com. Kill mold, remove odor, have mold or think you might, water intrusion. Look, South Louisiana, the mold capital of the world. It's wet, it's humid, breeding ground for mold. If you have mold or think you might, let our friends at Parish Restoration help you out. Go to parishrestoration.com, parishrestoration.com. Jim Woodworth and his gang, his team, they'll do an awesome job for you. They'll give you a free estimate. They'll spray their patented non-toxic dry fog. It's easy. They do your home in half a day. But it's not just homes. Business, office, church, school, doctor's office, workout facility, whatever. They'll come and spray, get it clean, sanitized, mold-free, smelling great. Parish Restoration, parishrestoration.com, parishrestoration.com. Okay, it is After Further Review. Thanks for hanging out with us here, y'all, on this Tuesday edition of AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Brooks Austin joins us next from Radio Row.
After Further Review.
I want to take 60 seconds and remind you about our friends at South Point Volkswagen Airline, just north of Highland, southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com. We drove to the beach a couple weeks ago and loaded up Erica's Atlas. Tell you, tons of room, fit all of my stuff, her stuff, Drew's stuff, and trust me, she brings a lot of stuff for Drew and for herself as well. I had one little suitcase, but tons of space. And then, of course, all the safety features gives me great peace of mind when I have my family in the vehicle. Knowing you're driving one of the safest vehicles on the road when you buckle into a Volkswagen. 9 different IIHS top safety picks. That's the highest safety designation. You get the great gas mileage, all the great style, feel, performance of luxury without the cost. And got great deals as the 4th of July savings continue all month. So check them out at southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction?
The Ascension Parish Sheriff's Office protects and serves over 132,000 residents across the parish.
Keeping our community safe is our mission, and Rev Fiber plays a critical role in how we respond. Whether it's training in our special divisions, forensics investigations, or fielding emergency calls in our operations center, Rev Business connects our teams in real time, which is why we partner with Rev Business.
Get 6 months free of Rev Business services. Call or click today.
Every Raising Cane's chicken finger is marinated, battered by hand, and cooked to order to perfection. We don't have heat lamps, because when you make it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
People think it's all about game day.
Let's go!
But the real work happens in the off season.
Spring practices, early lifts, extra reps.
And we need a healthcare team that works as hard as we do.
At FMOL Health, our lay of the lake, we take care of LSU football year-round.
So we can do what we do best.
We trust the lake.
From championship athletes to everyday champions, trusted care starts here.
Hey everybody, Drew Brees here. Over the years, I've learned that the best teams are built on trust, preparation, and doing things the right way. That's one of the reasons I'm excited to announce that the Breeze Dream Foundation and I are partnering with Parish Construction and Roofing. Together, we are committed to helping families prepare for hurricane season. That's why Parish Construction and Roofing, the Breeze Dream Foundation, and WAFB are partnering to provide one capital area family with a brand new fortified roof. Visit WAFB.com/contest to enter the giveaway and view official rules and eligibility requirements. Because stronger homes build stronger communities. Hey everybody, Drew Brees here. Over the years, I've learned that the best teams are built on trust, preparation, and doing things the right way. That's one of the reasons I'm excited to announce that the Breeze Dream Foundation and I are partnering with Parish Construction and Roofing. Together, we are committed to helping families prepare for hurricane season. That's why Parish Construction and Roofing, the Breeze Dream Foundation, and WAFB are partnering to provide one capital area family with a brand new fortified roof. Visit WAFB.com/contest to enter the giveaway and view official rules and eligibility requirements. Because stronger homes build stronger communities.
Eagle 98.1, the rock station. Home of the Woody Show in the morning. Scotty Mack with Rock at Work. Michelle Southern with Southern Rock. Home of LSU sports since 1998. And rock for Baton Rouge since 1985. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. To join our VIP fan club, text ROCK to 225-499-9898. Eagle 98.1, the rock station.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Savor game day platters and snacks, plus drink specials at 1717 Kitchen and Cocktail. So come out for game day and let our team make you the MVP. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. As the NBA offseason rolls on, the wait continues for a decision from LeBron James. He hasn't offered many clues about his thought process other than saying last week he won't, quote, hold you guys up too much longer, end quote. There's no hurry to make a decision, and when LeBron makes it, he'll make it, according to his agent, Rich Paul.
I think he's earned the right not to be rushed. And so it's not a thing where you're toying with people's emotions or trying to make it about anything more than the fact that, hey, this man has a very important layered decision to make across business, across family, across basketball. And, basketball is the business, obviously. But, just have to be patient with him.
Rich Paul on the Pat McAfee Show. NFL Dolphins and linebacker Jordan Brooks agreed to a 3-year, $51 million extension, $35 million guaranteed. He's the third key Miami player to sign a multi-year extension with the team this offseason. Georgia running back Dante Dowdell being treated for serious injuries at an Atlanta hospital after being involved in an ATV accident. There is no timeline yet for his potential return.
If you run a small business, you've got to try Gusto. Get unlimited payroll runs and get your payroll taxes filed automatically. Offer health insurance, 401k, and more. Get started for free at gusto.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's rock!
Hour 2 off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It is AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. We're here from Radio Row at SEC Football Media Days, Day 2. Georgia, Auburn, South Carolina, Vandy, all taking their turn. But right now, Brooks Austin, the film guy, good enough to join us. Thanks for the time, man. How are you?
Yeah, no doubt about it. I always enjoy seeing your clips on social media. I'm like, that guy's got something going on.
Is it?
That guy's got a certain thing that he's doing way better than everybody else.
Like being red-faced and yelling a lot?
I mean, maybe. But if there is a red-faced yeller that is like at the top of his game, it is you, brother. I mean, it is you, man.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
That's me.
See? He's got it. It's like a switch you can flip, man. It's impressive.
You know what, man? But it's not like it's an intentional thing. It's like, ask anybody that knows me. Like, we were all at dinner last night, and I started getting really upset about something. And, like, it's my Enneagram 8-ness is what comes out in me. Don't worry, I'll explain that later.
I got people in my chat, there's like, why is he yelling at us?
I don't know.
What's he doing? No, me.
Okay.
Me. They're like, why is he yelling? And I'm
Why
like,
are you yelling?
I get super passionate about something.
Good.
And then just got to get it off my chest.
Sometimes you got to yell. Just be your authentic self. So before we get into some LSU stuff, I want you to tell, for the listener viewer that isn't familiar, and you even told me like 2 years ago it was so different because you're just walking around hoping someone would grab you and you go on the show. And this year, I think you told me you did 14 hits yesterday, which is awesome. And by the way, one of the things I love about about the internet era of media is it is a meritocracy. Like, if you're good at what you do, you can win. And
Absolutely.
I love that. So I'm pumped for you and the growth you've had over the last couple of years, which is amazing. But tell people, like, how you got started, what you do.
Yeah, so I played Division II football at Shorter University in Rome, Georgia. And when you want to get into media, I think there's two routes, or at least at the time I thought there were two routes, right? I played SEC football. I want to be on television, so I get to do that just because I'm a name.
Sure.
And then there's the route that most of us have to take, which is like build it off the ground.
Yep.
And the only way to do that in 2019 when I got started was to be a writer. So I started as a beat reporter at the University of Georgia, and that's where I started because no one else was giving me an opportunity. So I was like, all right, I'll do that. Got really, really good at that. And then somewhere around 2020, I started doing YouTube stuff and like breaking down film, and it went off like gangbusters in the Georgia space. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make this my thing. This is what I'm gonna be good at, right? I'm gonna niche this out. I'm gonna be elite as I can at this. And then I reached, at least mentally, I thought we reached a saturation point in about 2022, 2023. Every Georgia fan that I was gonna get, I already got. You know what I mean? And I wanted more, and I wanted to continue to build. I wanted to bring producers on, and it's really, really hard to do that if you've reached a capsizing point. So I started figuring like, all right, I'll just try to do this nationally too, but I didn't want to leave what I'd built, so I just do them both, and that's what we've been doing the last 2 years, and it's scaled really, really well. And I know why. I know why it scales in this conference specifically, because the type of content that I do, the film breakdowns, the types of takes that I bring to a microphone, they require the listener or the viewer to be what we call ball curious. Like, you have to wonder why something went right or why something went wrong. If you just want someone to tell you what happened, I'm not the guy. You know what I mean? But if you want someone to explain what's actually happening and why it's happening, then you can sprint to our place and come to an understanding of, like, this is why it worked, this is why it didn't, this is why this coach is a really good offensive coordinator, this is why the hot takes about this guy aren't all that great. You know what I mean? This guy's actually doing a good job, he's just got a problem here. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what's happened over the last 2 years, where, you know, 2 years ago I was just the George B reporter that was pretty good on YouTube, and now it's you know, almost 100,000 subscribers. So very, very thankful.
That's awesome. And yo, get subbed up over on YouTube. Okay, then let's talk about Levitt. When you look at Sam, because this is Brooks, this is like a real curiosity point for all LSU fans. I think everyone understands whatever LSU is going to be, Sam's got to be the guy that he's being paid to be. But there's this giant curiosity because he didn't participate in spring, lingering injury maybe, and he ain't here this week.
Yeah.
So everyone's going, what's the deal? What do you see?
So at Arizona State, and I think these are two silos of conversations, right? Okay. What Sam is at Arizona State, what he has put on film, and what I know Lane Kiffin and that offensive brainstem is going to make him into. The playmaker and the quarterback that I saw at Arizona State, the only word I could use to describe it is frantic. Right? I compared him, honestly, to Trae Young, the basketball player, where, like, Trae Young would come down court, hit a freaking shot from the logo, and then the next possession go down and get blown by and give up a dunk, right? And as a fan, you're having these ups and downs of this player. Sam is that to me at Arizona State, where one play, he'll do something absolutely miraculous. He'll evade a rush, he'll spin out backwards and then throw a 45-yard bomb, and it'll be a touchdown. And then the next play, it's like, hey, dude, it was right there. Just take that. You know what I mean? Just do the simple stuff. And I think that is what Lane and Charlie Weiss Jr. and Dane Stevens, the quarterback coach over there at LSU, that's what they're great at ingraining into their players. It's like, hey, just trust what we got going on a little bit more. And now, especially with headsets and the ability to pull that microphone down and talk to that quarterback and give him the answers, I've actually gone about saying this way. I think Sam Levitt's going to get an NFL GM fired. And it's not his fault, okay? It's not the GM's fault. What it's going to be is Lane Kiffin's going to make that guy look like a god. You know what I mean? Because that's what they do, man. They put up points. And I think Lane actually tweeted out a graphic during the Sugar Bowl while Ole Miss and Georgia were playing that said, you got to laugh at that, that were saying basically like since helmet comms have come into the sport, no one has had more yards per game, no one has had more points per game, no one has had a better offense than what Ole Miss does or what Ole Miss was doing and now what LSU will do. And what that is I remember sitting at Georgia Ole Miss, the regular season game, and game day's in town in Athens, right? And I'm sitting back there, and Kirby and Nick are having this conversation about Lane's whistle. Because Lane used to whistle a lot on the sideline because he'd see something, and then he'd whistle, and he'd give a new sign to the quarterback, and they'd have the answer for that defense. Well, guess what? There ain't no whistle no more. He just pulls the headset down, gives the kid the answer, and then they roll. You know what I mean? So there really is no defending Lane Kiffin offense. What ultimately, the more and more I study him, because I am a film guy, you'll watch every team from Wazoo to Alabama to Georgia to whoever the hell they're playing that day, they will ultimately boil down to just playing man-to-man coverage. Because if you try to play zone coverage, he'll just pull the headset down, tell the quarterback where the void in the defense is, and then they will shred you to death. And they'll just walk the ball down the field. And then you get into man-to-man coverage, and now they start shredding you with explosives because you're getting beat or you're getting rubbed. So there really is no answer other than I've got to have better players than him, particularly at the defensive backfield. And that gets really, really peculiar when you're talking about LSU assets and LSU resources and LSU talent pool and the state of Louisiana wide receivers. You know what I'm saying? Like that to me, there was no question why he took the job. Right? I know there's a lot of questions about why or how he left the previous job, but dude, it's the LSU Tigers. Like, it is a better job than Ole Miss from a resources and ability and 5-hour radius standpoint. Like, state of Mississippi's got great JUCOs. It ain't got all that great of high school football, right? I would put Louisiana probably third in the belt, maybe fourth in the belt, like in the SEC belt in terms of high school talent, right? High school football in the state of Louisiana is really, really good. It's really good in Georgia. It's really good in Texas. It's not all that great in Alabama and Florida. They got great football players, but the structure of high school football is not that great. Like a high school football coach here in Florida makes like $6,000 a year. There are 35 football coaches in the state of Georgia alone on public record that make over $100,000. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So that type of investment into the quality of high school football comes out in a direct relation with quality of players that come out.
So Brooks Austin is our guest. I want to dig a little deeper on what makes Lane's offense great. And maybe you can even speak to Charlie Weiss's involvement here, but like, what is it? I mean, I know they go fast and he's smart, but like, what is it?
So a lot of teams and a lot of coaches know defensive structures. I don't think any of them know them like he does, right? Like, because of who his dad was. It's Monty. Yeah. Like, everyone's rushing to play 3-high safety nowadays, which is basically a version of Tampa 2. Like, the middle safety is just going to roll into the mid-hole, and that's what Tampa 2 defense was. Well, who invented Tampa 2 defense? Monty Kiffin. So, and it's not just that. I would imagine having one of the best defensive minds in the history of the sport, having him as your father not only tells you what they're playing, but why they're playing it and how they're coached to play it, right? So you know the vulnerabilities in the structure that the defense is presenting at a really, really high rate. And that's why, again, you will see teams who have no business playing man-to-man coverage against the talent that they have, just boiling down to that, because it's the only way. I call it the catch point. It's the only way you can actually get a defender at the catch point. Otherwise, they're just going to hook up in free zone windows the whole entire game. Georgia didn't get off the field. Georgia did not create a punt in the first football game against Ole Miss until midway through the third quarter. Georgia.
Why?
You know what I mean?
Like, Kirby talked about it today. It's the only offense that he struggled with.
Yeah.
Like, because why?
Again, you just have to end up playing man-to-man coverage. Nowadays, with the headsets, there is no hiding. There is no, like, if I'm playing cover 3, I know where you're vulnerable in the seams and the flats. If you're playing cover 4, the middle of the field's open. Like, I know where these things are, and I have the ability to get them in now and beat them now. So, and playing man-to-man coverage isn't even, like, foolproof. Like, the play that cost Georgia the Sugar Bowl was cover 1 man. And DeBron Stribling gets a free release and gets outside of the nickel corner, and now all of a sudden it's a 45-yard explosive, and they're in field goal range, and they lose the game, right? So that's what it is, in my opinion.
Can you do another segment?
Absolutely.
Okay, because I want to dig deeper on, because you said like with the LSU talent now and the resources with the scheme, what does that mean? So I want to look at some of the resources that Lane's got up on this roster. We'll do that when we continue. Brooks Austin is with us. Get him at Brooks Austin BA. So we get him on Twitter. And, of course, YouTube, The Film Guy. Check him out. We're going to continue with Brooks Austin. Stay here.
AFR.
Get Gordon. Get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. If you've been injured in an accident, it's not your fault. Do what injured people in our state have done for 3 decades. Get Gordon and get it done. Man, I'm really fired up for the new members of the G team to be announced. We'll tell you more about them whenever that is public. But, Gordon does an amazing job. Amazing job of giving back to the communities that he serves and that have been so good to him and his family. The G team, his love for LSU certainly is part of that, all the NIL deals that they do with Tiger athletes. But on top of that, even still, you can dig deeper into the laptop giveaway during high school graduation, the bicycle giveaway around Christmas. We got to be at Gordon's office last year during the bike giveaway. It was such a great thing. Even things like investing in Court to Table, which is an amazing resource in Baton Rouge for people who love pickleball and just want a place to go watch games and things like that. You know what to do. You've been injured in an accident. It's not your fault. GetGordon.com. GetGordon.com. Get Gordon. Get it done.
Lockmair, Sean Fagan and Associates has won for our clients over $175 million over the decades. But our greatest success is our clients who have chosen and trusted us to help them. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call. You've got nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan. If you get injured, you could be staring at medical bills, repair costs, and lost income. Life can be turned upside down. At Lockmair, Sean Fagan and Associates, we'll work to turn your world right side up. Hire us, and like thousands of our clients, you'll be glad you did.
Jordan Faber here with some exciting news. Faber Automotive has officially arrived. We're proud to introduce your new hometown dealership, Faber Chevrolet GMC. That means more inventory, better deals, and the same great local team. Now backed by the trusted Faber family name. Whether you're shopping or servicing, you'll feel the difference from day one. Allow us the opportunity to earn your business.
Fabre Chevrolet GMC. Visit us in St. Francisville or online at FabreChevrolet.com.
Community sailing is all about getting people in the New Orleans area out on boats, out on Lake Pontchartrain. Gulf Coast Bank helps us provide opportunities to get folks out who might not otherwise have the financial means to come sailing. Auctions in August is an online fundraiser that helps nonprofits like us service the community. Bidding through Auctions in August is a lot of fun because there's so many different items. There's something for everyone, so you're sure to find something that relates directly to you that you'll enjoy bidding on, and you get to help out the community.
Eagle 98.1, the rock station. Home of the Woody Show in the morning. Scotty Mack with Rock at Work. Michelle Southern with Southern Rock. Home of LSU sports since 1998. And rock for Baton Rouge since 1985. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. To join our VIP fan club, text ROCK to 225-499-9898. Eagle 98.
We're brought to you by Supper Club. You can book your reservation, supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com. One of the things about Supper Club that I love is if you want to go to Supper Club and be a baller, you can do it. You want to go to Supper Club and order a $5,000 bottle of Chateau Lafite Rothschild, you can do it. You want to go have $400 shots of cognac, you can do it. You can have experiences at Supper Club that usually are reserved for Las Vegas and New York and Paris and Abu Dhabi. Like, that's here in Baton Rouge. But the thing you got to remember as well, if you want to go to Supper Club and have the best steak of your life and have a few appetizers, a dessert, bottle of wine, you can do it as affordably as any other restaurant in town. But the experience at Supper Club is unmatched. Introduced open seating at the bar, first come, first serve. So if you knock off of work, you want to head by Supper Club, you can walk in without a reservation, see if you can grab a bar stool or a table by the bar as well. Have a great dinner, maybe cocktail, close some business. Book your reservation, supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Live from the 2026 SEC Football Media Days in Tampa, presented by FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, Relief Windows, Rev Fiber, and Parrish Construction and Roofing.
All All right, back here from Radio Row, Brooks Austin, good enough to hang out with us, the film guy. Make sure you subscribe up on YouTube and follow him at Brooks Austin BA. Okay, so we're talking about LSU. I love the word you used when talking about Sam Levitt. You said it was frantic, and effectively said, look, the coaching staff just needs him to just trust what they're calling. But I love the way you put it about at Ole Miss, they had this offense. They had one receiver drafted. It was Dejon Stribling.
Yeah.
Nobody else. Now, Trinidad Chambliss, Will Lacey, when their day comes. But like one guy from last year got drafted. So now you give them the resources at LSU. So this year, what do the resources at LSU look like on this offense?
All right, so what was it? Jace Brown from K-State. I mean,
Yes.
You told me there's 9 wide receivers he brought in. And here's my take on this. That dude's got something figured out at wide receiver. He takes guys that you look at and you're like, wait a minute. You took a 400-yard wide receiver from Wake Forest? That was Deuce Alexander last year. I thought Deuce Alexander was their second or third best wide receiver at Ole Miss. He's still there. He'll probably go for 1,000 yards this year at Ole Miss. He's really freaking good. So this guy's got some type of sauce when it comes to identifying the skill sets that best fit what we do on offense. So, yeah, we grab a kid from Hawaii. We grab old buddy from Florida that's constantly banged up, or at least was it, with Eugene Wilson. Trey Wilson. That dude's elite at the start and stop, right? And then the kid from Hawaii is like a 6'3" X-body type that can probably get vertical and stop.
Jackson Harris.
Yeah, to do a lot of this stuff that they do sometimes in the RPO game as well. But they got something. They got some type of sauce when it comes to identifying wide receivers that might not look like Jeremiah Smith, but they work for us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, I would never, ever just be a namesake guy with Lane Kiffin wide receivers because he knows something. He knows something that I don't know, and I'm very, very forthcoming when I identify things like that in certain coaches, where it's like, oh, so-and-so took him. He must be good. That's the way I feel about Lane with wide receivers.
It's funny. He made a comment. I've played this comment. My audience has heard me play it a million times. Lane in spring, I asked him the question about the receiver core because he took so many guys, but none were the upper echelon. And in the way he described it, he said, you think of it like your cap. And if you have this total number, we don't want to spend all the money on one guy at the top. We want a bunch of guys because we think we're best when we have 4 to 6 guys, depth, and you make it, especially now with an extended season, you want to have a bunch of guys that can contribute. And it's kind of so like they took their money and spread it out. I think they look at the 9 guys they brought in. They brought 1 guy back and then the freshman coming in. So they got 13 scholarship wide receivers. They need 4, 5, 6 of those 13 to work.
Yeah.
So you think they'll identify among those 13 the 4, 5, 6 they need?
For sure. And the one thing I've heard from folks over there was just how bad they thought the offensive roster was a year ago when they got there.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like just not what we want, not what we need. Not that they're bad football players, but that's not what we do. You know what I mean? Kind of the vibe. Defensively, I think they kind of let it stay intact for the most part. Rightfully so. Got a lot of dudes over there. I'm very, very interested to see what he does with Trey'Dez Green.
That's my next note.
Matt, they ain't never had a dude like this. He has never had a tight end like this. I mean, was he O.J. Howard? Did he cross over O.J. Howard at Alabama? I can't even remember. It's been so long ago.
Yeah.
Was Lane there at Alabama calling plays, or was that Sark?
No, he had to be there because Lane got there in 12, right?
Yeah, but O.J. Howard was in those Clemson years playing for national titles. So I don't even know if, again, it's beside the point, but like, I don't think he's ever had a tight end that can go like this kid can.
OJ was 13 to 16. He was over Lane. Yeah.
So he probably, and he squeezed the life out of that career and got the most out of that football player. So, but it's even more use and more explosive at the tight end spot with what Lane does now as his offense. Because at Alabama, he kind of had to run his version of Nick's offense, which is never going to be as fun and explosive as what it is now. You know what I mean?
So I'm curious what you think about this. So we told you Lane gave us a lot of access in spring. We saw 1, 2, and 3 tight end sets, and we saw Trey'Dez attached, H-back, slot, and wide. Everywhere. He lined up everywhere on the formation.
That's the way it ought to be. I call it tight end pops. Like the old tight end pop pass we used to run in, like Pop Warner.
Yeah.
They run it better than anybody. This offense is elite at it. You just look up and you're like, wait a minute. Like their tight end last year who went undrafted, I think had 800 yards receiving. And he was nothing compared to what this dude is from a physical standpoint. Nobody really is, apart from Elias Williams at Georgia.
Don't get me too excited, man. I'm trying not to be too excited.
You need to be excited about the offense.
Okay.
And like there's no iteration, no simulation in my mind where I'm like, LSU's going to be bad on offense. Like that's what this dude is.
Yeah.
Now, whether or not some of his tendencies offensively and being such an offensively leaned head football coach puts you at a disadvantage sometimes on defense, right? Like, hey, get ready for it, LSU fans. You're going to be really, really upset when he goes for it on 4th down on his own 35. Okay? But you're going to be really happy when he extends a drive doing so.
Yeah.
Okay? But there's going to be a lot of times where you're like, damn, coach, probably should have kicked the field goal. And that's just not the way they roll. You know what I mean? It's not the way he believes in it. They take the analytical book, you know, going by the book, to extremes.
Mm-hmm.
They go for it in situations where you're like, really? You're about to do this? And he will. He will flat out go because he just believes in what they do offensively. And he's got a deep bag on 4th and short and 2-point conversions, I would imagine.
It's interesting because that mentality cost him a playoff shot against Florida 2 years ago, basically, when they had 3 red zone possessions where they passed on field goals 3 times and gave the ball to Pegues 3 times, got stuffed 3 times.
Yeah, no, it ain't going to be handing the ball off inside the 3. Like, you're going to get some fun stuff. You know what I mean? Especially now that, like, Levitt is a threat to run the ball, and that will be incorporated. And by the way, that's the other thing about this guy. Y'all will never, ever recruit at LSU. You will never recruit a pro passer, a pocket guy. You're going to recruit nothing but athletes moving forward. It'll be a lot of Peyton Houston over and over and over again.
Yeah.
All right? Who, by the way, I think Peyton Houston is the next Trinidad Chambliss. Like, I think that is what it is. That kid is special.
We had a lot of conversations about Pop, again, and Elijah, but it's very – and when the staff came in, they didn't talk to Elijah. It was very clear they were focused on Houston.
And that's why.
Yeah.
Like, Elijah is a good athlete, Elijah Haven, but he's not sub 4.6 and twitchy and can start and stop and can – it makes offense so much easier. It makes offense so much easier when I know for a fact that I can balance counts, meaning like you have to account for the quarterback. So if you have 6 defenders in the box and I only have 5 offensive linemen and a ball carrier, the count is even. Not anymore.
Yeah.
Because I got a quarterback who can run. So we balance counts at a really, really high rate. They are very adamant about that in their offensive system and in their brain stem. They believe in making sure moving forward that they have a really, really good athlete at the spot.
Okay, I got a couple more. One, LSU has been awful running the football the last 2 years. They were dead last in the conference 2 years ago. I think this past year they were second to last. How are they going to run the ball this year?
Well, the system in and of itself will create a lot more opportunities. We play with a lot of pace sometimes in that system. It's slowed down considerably with helmet comms because they want to get the right play in. They're not as rapid as they've been in years prior. But Sam Levitt will create that too. I love Nuss. I love Nussmeier. And it's a shame that his lat did what his lat did or back, whatever the hell it was, because I thought that kid, if you watch his 24 tape, nobody's got more NFL throws on it than Garrett Nussmeier. But we end up having what we have physically, and then it just deteriorates. And it's pretty hard to throw the football when your back's all locked up like it was. But all that being said, even when he was healthy, he was not a threat. And in college football nowadays, it makes it way too damn hard. I'll take it to Georgia in 2024. Georgia in 2024 had 4 offensive linemen drafted in the NFL. 3 of them started day 1 when they got there. Day 1, and they're great. They're great NFL football players. They had 4 NFL football players on that offensive line. They finished 103rd in rushing.
That's crazy.
That math don't math.
Yeah.
It's the University of Georgia. It's Kirby Smart. They have 4 NFL offensive linemen, and they finished 103rd in rushing. How? Carson Beck can't run. So anytime I put the ball into the belly of the back, when he's inside saddle and shotgun, anytime I give any presence of run, the whole defense is just right to the ball carrier. Backside defensive ends are not held responsible. They don't have to get flat feet. They can just sprint right to the rock. And that makes it really, really hard because we're back to the balance counts conversation. We're not doing that. So it's going to be really, really hard to run the football. Alabama ran into this last year. Ty Simpson's great. He's awesome. But he doesn't balance counts. So it's a thing I believe in, and I know they do at LSU, and I'm moving more towards their thought process of, like, dude, if your quarterback is at least not going to keep backside defensive ends honest, I don't care what you have in this conference, you're going to really struggle to move people and just blow holes open. It's going to be really hard. We gotta make the math.
Brooks Austin, get him at Brooks Austin BA before you go. You think LSU's a playoff team?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm a talent, assets, resources guy. I think they got a $40 million roster. 45? Yeah, I'm with you. I don't believe all these numbers that I see because I know, like, I think they got dang near $9 million tied up in the quarterback room alone. You know what I mean? So, like, I'm a believer that if you have a lot of talent and I know you're going to score a lot of points, you're going to be all right. Now, one thing I will say, I wish Blake Baker would calm down just a little bit with the defensive structures. Like, buddy, we're not running inbound plays, dog. Like, we're playing defense. Line up and play. You know what I mean? Like, I turned the tape on last year against Arkansas. He got 7 guys lined up in a straight line over the ball. And Taylor Green goes, quarterback draw. Phew. You know what I mean? 18 yards. Wow, right in the face. And I'm like, Coach, it's 3rd and 12. Just line up, dude. Like, just get him off the field. So I would imagine there's going to be a little bit of those conversations. I would have them with him. Like, I know we're Mr. Exotic, and that's cool. Can we be Mr. Chicken and Rice every once in a while? Can we just line up and play ball?
It's much easier to do when you got a 30-point lead.
Yeah.
That might happen a few times this year.
It might.
Good stuff, brother.
Good seeing you.
Thank you so much, man.
No doubt.
Brooks Austin, the film guy. You'll get him at Brooks Austin BA. Subscribe on YouTube to the film guy. Awesome stuff, man. Great perspective. Does a great job. I'm fired up for him, too, and his success. Hey, we're brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service. ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. We have locations all over South Louisiana. Name brand tires at wholesale prices. They keep you coming back because they treat you like family. It's Shawbills. Shawbills Tire and Auto Service. They guarantee you, by the way, that they're going to give you the lowest prices. They call it the Charlie's. That's part of the Charlie's dozen. It's the price match guarantee. It's a dozen benefits extended to you and your family whenever you buy tires at Shawbills. You buy tires at Shawbills. If you find those tires advertised cheaper somewhere else, they're going to refund you 125% of the difference. Shawbills Tire and Auto Service. ShawBillsTire.com. ShawBillsTire.com. Shawbills. We keep you rolling. All right, it's after further review. Yo, we are halfway home here, day 2 from Radio Row at SEC Football Media Days. In 30 minutes, our convo with Marty Smith, where I basically just told Marty, tell me what happened on Thanksgiving weekend in Oxford. And he, in Marty Smith fashion, riffed for like 8 minutes of nothing but pure non-caffeine-induced energy, and it was awesome. So that's coming up in 30 minutes from right now. Convo with Chris Doering is coming up as well. We're glad to have you aboard with us. Stick around here on Radio Row from SEC Football Media Day. Tuesday show is powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. REV, RevFiber.com, RevFiber.com. Of course, Rev, one of our presenting sponsors here from Radio Row at SEC Football Media Days. Rev, an official partner of LSU Athletics. So happy for our friends over at Rev for getting that deal done, using the brand, the marks, and being locked hand in hand, lockstep with LSU Athletics. So congrats to Rev on getting that deal done. Proud partner of LSU Athletics and a proud partner of ours here on AFR. And I tell you all the time, I don't just endorse Rev, I'm a customer. Erica and I, as soon as they laid fiber in our neighborhood, we switched to Rev. At Parish Construction and Roofing, we are Rev customers. At Guarantee Media, we are Rev customers. Actually, Guarantee, we ended up saving a ton of money because we had a bunch of services and cable boxes and internet with different companies. Anyway, we ended up consolidating and saved a ton of money by switching to Rev. You might be able to do the same with your business every single month. Check them out, RevFiber.com, R-E-V, RevFiber.com, RevFiber.com.
Bayou Ford is taking $13,000 off MSRP on the new 2026 Ford F-150 trucks.
Plus the complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our #1 product's always customer satisfaction. Come visit us at reliefwindows.com. By the way, we do shutters too.
People think it's all about game day, but the real work happens in the off season. And we need a healthcare team that works as hard as we do.
At FMOL Health, our Lady of the Lake, we take care of LSU football year-round.
We trust the lake.
Hey everybody, Drew Brees here. Over the years, I've learned that the best teams are built on trust, preparation, and doing things the right way. That's one of the reasons I'm excited to announce that the Breeze Dream Foundation and I are partnering with Parish Construction and Roofing. Together, we are committed to helping families prepare for hurricane season. That's why Parish Construction and Roofing, the Breeze Dream Foundation, and WAFB are partnering to provide one capital area family with a brand new fortified roof. Visit WAFB.com/contest to enter the giveaway and view official rules and eligibility requirements. Because stronger homes build stronger communities.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient, and the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit louisianapropane.com.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith with Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates. We take great pride in educating our clients about their rights. Whether you're injured at work or while you drive, call our office at 272-5555. Knowledge is power, and you should know your rights after an injury.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan of Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates. When insurance companies have been unfair, we've never been afraid to go to trial. Fighting hard to protect your rights, we never settle a case out of convenience. We only settle when it's right for you. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call.
Most roofers just replace your shingles. At Pelican, we diagnose your roof, digging deep down to find the root cause of your roof symptoms. Now cough for me? Good. We don't ignore your roof's issues, we address them. Let's just take care of this right here. Helping your roof to become the best version of itself. Interesting that you would say that. How does that make you feel? So call Pelican Roofing for your free roof checkup today.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Live from the 2026 SEC Football Media Days in Tampa, presented by FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, Relief Windows, Rev Fiber, and Parish Construction and Roofing.
Rolling along here, glad to have you hanging out with us from Radio Row SEC Football Media Days. Here in the afternoon, Vanderbilt, South Carolina took their turns. I'll talk about Vanderbilt a little bit in hour number 3, but I wanted to take a minute and talk about South Carolina because one of the fascinating things about this event always are new coaches. And the question of who's on the hot seat maybe at their last media days. Now, a year ago, when we were here, there were no new coaches. I mean, every coach was in the conference was retained going into 2025. This year, as we know, there are 6 new coaches. And so it's been a giant storyline. The one guy, though, that everyone sort of unanimously looks at and agrees is on the hottest of hot seats is Shane Beamer at South Carolina. And it's so interesting because they very patiently waited with Shane as he built that program. And then 2 years ago in 2024, they went 9-3. And, of course, they had the loss to LSU where the pick 6 came off the board. South Carolina fans will forever complain about that. But you can't blow up the quarterback blind side. It's a penalty. Everyone knows it's a penalty. Anyway, they completely choked away an opportunity to beat Alabama. And point is, they were close at 9-3. And so going into last year with Lenora Sellers back, the expectation was they were going to take that next step and potentially be a playoff team. Well, they went 4-8, and it was an atrocity. And they were one of the worst offenses in the conference, and Mike Shula got fired. I could point to the fact that hiring Mike Shula was an abject disaster. I don't know why anyone would ever have considered that have been a good idea, and it's why coordinator hires are so massively, I'm saying the obvious, so massively important. But kind of quietly this offseason, Shane Beamer not only got Lenora Sellers to return, but he hired Kendall Briles. And Briles has been, he's obviously off the tree from his father there with Art Briles over at Baylor. And he played he started his career at Texas, playing career at Texas, finished his playing career at Houston. He's coached at Baylor and FAU and with Lane, incidentally, and Houston, and then Florida State, then Arkansas, TCU, and now at South Carolina. And I think it is going to be fascinating to see if Kendall Briles can spark whatever it is in Lenora Sellers to make him the prospect people think that he can be. We all know that undeniably with Lenora Sellers, the physical ability is there, right? I mean, he's 6'3", 240. He's a dynamic threat running the ball and has great physical ability throwing the ball. But I've often joked, Rex Beck's couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat. The inaccuracy has been a problem throughout his career for Sellers. He completed just 60% of his passes a year ago. And so you saw all of his numbers fall back. His passing yardage number, his passing touchdowns went from 18 to 13. He threw an additional interception. He went from 7 to 8. And the rushing total was gutted. He went from 674 rushing yards 2 years ago to just 270 last year. So, you look at Lenora Sellers and you wonder, can they maximize this great physical ability? Another stat, I forget who gave us this stat a year ago. And I thought my memory would jog. If I do, we'll talk about it. But Sellers, by a mile, had the longest time of any quarterback in the SEC holding the football before a pass attempt. So obviously allowed the pass rush to get to him, and coincidentally, or it's why he was, or incidentally, why he took such a large number of sacks. So can Kendall Briles coming into South Carolina turn that offense around? Now, Shane Beamer was asked today about hiring Briles, and remember, he played against Briles when Briles was at Arkansas, and so he saw him at Arkansas, and so Beamer was asked, did facing Briles at Arkansas impact the decision to hire him?
Certainly, Kendall, I knew who he was, didn't know him personally going into that day. What he did that day was impressive, the way that offense operated and how efficient they were. So certainly when I was going through the process of hiring a new offensive coordinator, I went back and I watched that game. I mean, I remember I was there, obviously, and we didn't win. I remember it, but I wanted to go back and watch, how they attacked us and what they did and some of the things they did offensively. And watching the tape of that game on my computer did nothing but reaffirm, that Kendall was somebody that I wanted to get in our program.
The really interesting thing about South Carolina, we talk about everybody's schedule when we talk about these teams, right? And so at the end of the week, whenever we do our order of finish and the all-SEC team and everything, we'll talk through this. But when you look at South Carolina's schedule, they get an opportunity to get some feel-good in the belly in the first month. They start with Kent State and then Towson. And then they have a home game against Mississippi State. So they open up conference play against State. So that game is in Columbia, South Carolina. And then they go to Alabama. So they're going to very likely be favored in their first 3 games. Then they go on the road to Tuscaloosa. But then they're back home against Kentucky, which get new coach, new system, all there with Will Stein. Then they go on the road at Florida. How quickly can John Summerall get Florida up to speed? That's right at the midway point of the season there on October the 10th. So it'll be interesting. That's a road game. It'll be tough. Then they're back home against Tennessee, at Oklahoma, home against A&M. So that's their toughest stretch right there. At Florida, home against Tennessee, at Oklahoma, home against A&M. But they avoid back-to-back road conference games. I guess all that to say, and then they finish with Arkansas, Georgia, at Clemson. At Arkansas, Georgia, at Clemson. So I can see a world where they're an underdog at Florida, they're an underdog at Alabama, they're an underdog at Oklahoma, they're an underdog at Clemson. They got a home game against Georgia, a home game against A&M. They'll probably be an underdog in those 6. If they win their other 6, all right, you're at 500. Can you find a way to upset a couple of teams where you're going to be an underdog? And if so, now you're talking about an 8-win team, and that's bouncing back from 4-8 to maybe going 8-4. And if that happens, then I think Shane Beamer's safe. But if they go 6-6 and chalk holds with this schedule, then you're likely looking at the end of the line for Shane Beamer in Columbia, South Carolina. it would be a precipitous fall from the peak of 2 years ago, going 9-3 and being really a breath away from the play for really a couple of games where you blew opportunities to win. I mean, they blew a double-digit second-half lead against LSU, and they gagged away the game where they had dominated Alabama early in that game and then ultimately lost. So it'll be really interesting watching South Carolina as a test case because, look, the 6 new coaches in the league aren't getting fired. And Kirby obviously is not getting fired, and you can look at other stable points. I don't think Mike Elko and Steve Sarkisian, these coaches are established. But you look at where there could be sort of unrest in the league, and Columbia, South Carolina is really ground zero for that right now. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad to have you aboard with us here. We're brought to you by Hancock Whitney, HancockWhitney.com/Matt. They gave us our own custom URL. I told you I am a card-carrying member of the Hancock Whitney fan club, like quite literally. Look, I'm pulling out my money clip, so I'll show you all this. I have the Hancock Whitney Saints Gold debit card, so you can get yours. LSU, their official banking partner of the LSU Tigers, official banking partner of the New Orleans Saints. You can get your debit card for the Tigers or the Saints. Be a card carrying member. HancockWhitney.com/Matt. Use our custom URL to get started to learn more. I love the app as well. It's really a financial center where you can budget. It'll track spending. It'll help you do investments. It's real big graphs, easy to use if you're visual. I love it. HancockWhitney.com/Matt. HancockWhitney.com/Matt. All right, it's After Further Review, y'all. We're going to put a button here on hour number 2 when we come back. Remember, you can always email us, tweet us, or text the show, 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Our convo with Marty Smith is coming up in 16 minutes. Our convo with Chris Doering next hour as well. A lot still to get to, and glad to have you hanging on with us here on a Tuesday edition of AFR. Coverage from Radio Row all week is brought to you by FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, Parish Construction and Roofing, Relief Windows, and Rev Fiber. We'll continue to wrap up hour number 2 next.
AFR.
If you're thinking of selling your home, call Darren James and get your home sold. 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com, agent225.com. I want to remind you, because we haven't talked about it in a while, but it's a good time to remind you about that home value tool at the website, agent225.com. If you've never heard me mention this, I want you to do this. Pull your phone, or if you're desktop, just type in agent225.com, agent225.com. It says home bottom right on the homepage, or just scroll if you're on mobile. It says home value. You literally just type in your address, hit enter, and then boom, it will use local market data to give you a more accurate representation of what your home is worth today. Agent225, and by the way, it's a totally free tool to use. You can do it right now at agent225.com. If you're thinking of selling your home, call Darren James, get your home sold.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
Are you ready for an internet experience that actually keeps up with you? Then you're ready to step into a new kind of reliability with Rev Fiber. When your internet works, the possibilities open up, and suddenly everything feels more connected, just the way it should be. Seamless enough to keep up with every swipe and every click, anywhere you are. So leave the buffering behind. 100% fiber, 0% runaround, where support is still personal. Rev Fiber. Visit revfiber.com.
People think it's all about game day. Let's go! But the real work happens in the off season.
Spring practices, early lifts,
Extra reps. And we need a healthcare team that works as hard as we do.
At FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, we take care of LSU football year-round.
so we can do what we do best.
We trust the lake.
From championship athletes to everyday champions, trusted care starts here.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product's always customer satisfaction. Come visit us at reliefwindows.com. By the way, we do shutters too.
Hey everybody, Drew Brees here. Over the years, I've learned that the best teams are built on trust, preparation, and doing things the right way. That's one of the reasons I'm excited to announce that the Breeze Dream Foundation and I are partnering with Parish Construction and Roofing. Together, we are committed to helping families prepare for hurricane season. That's why Parish Construction and Roofing, the Breeze Dream Foundation, and WAFB are partnering to provide one capital area family with a brand new fortified roof. Visit WAFB.com/contest to enter the giveaway and view official rules and eligibility requirements. Because stronger homes build stronger communities.
Investing in a new roof doesn't have to be overwhelming. At Pelican Roofing, we offer 0 interest for 21 months because everyone deserves a safe, secure home. Trusted, local, affordable. Pelican Roofing, making
Better coverage for less money. That's Insurance Network of Louisiana. 293-0450, 293-0450, 293-0450, or lainsurance.net. That's where you get Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call Adam, Jay, the whole gang over at Insurance Network of Louisiana. It's super easy. I've told you about them for years. It doesn't matter if it's your homeowner's insurance, your car insurance, your business insurance. They crush it, by the way, for restaurants. If you're a restaurateur or know someone who is, tell them whatever they're paying in insurance, they need to call Insurance Network of Louisiana to let them shop independently for free. Dozens of the top-rated companies in the world to find you better coverage for less money. 293-0450, 293-0450, or lainsurance.net, and it is free. It doesn't cost you, literally, there's no catch. It doesn't cost you anything. If they save you money, great, switch. If not, okay. At least you know the coverage you have now is great. Why wouldn't you call? 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Live from the 2026 SEC Football Media Days in Tampa. Presented by FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, Relief Windows, Rev Fiber, and Parish Construction and Roofing.
Wrapping up hour number 2. Auburn was here Georgia and Auburn took their turns this morning here at SEC Football Media Days. And I've been waiting for Auburn. Because if you listen to the show any length of time, I've talked about this a good bit. I'm bullish on Auburn as my sleeper team in the conference. And I don't know that I believe them to be a sleeper in terms of the college football playoff. I think that's far too ambitious. But Auburn has had a sub-500 record 5 straight years. It is stunning to think that the Auburn Tigers, with all of their resources, could fall on that sort of hard times. And so Alex Golesh comes in, and he's a guy who sort of rebuilt USF and did so with Byron Brown the past 3 years as his quarterback. And remember, USF during that time has played Florida, who they beat last year, by the way. One of the reasons Billy Napier is no longer the coach. They had a home-and-home with Alabama. The game in Tampa 3 years ago was a close game into the fourth quarter. So I think Auburn, we know Golesh is a good offensive coach, and he has the biggest missing piece, which is the quarterback, who was a 3,000-yard passer and a 1,000-yard rusher a season ago. So you have this dynamic dual-threat guy that knows the offense, runs the offense, and I think should seamlessly integrate. So I kind of wonder, and Golesh was asked, what is successful in year one? Here's what he said.
I don't really have any goals other than laying a foundation for what Auburn football is going to be for years to come, and that starts with building an identity. And this word identity is the only thing we've talked about as a program. And the first piece of this identity that we've hammered home is the ability to be physically and mentally tough, the ability to be the most violent football team on the field every Saturday. Violent. I think that's something you can watch and see. A football team that's connected. Guys score, do they celebrate together? Guys make mistakes, do people pick them up? Create an explosive on defense. Is everybody in there celebrating together? A group that communicates extremely well. A group that plays for each other. A group that has leadership. And it has to come from the guys on the field. We've spent a lot of time building leaders. And a team that's incredibly detailed. We talk about winning in the margins. You watch a team play, and are they detailed in what they do? Is situational football look like the way it's supposed to? If we can leave year one and we have a foundation that's built on our identity, I would tell you it's a successful year one.
Okay, that's a lot of coach speak, and I think a lot of it is bogus. That's not going to inspire a lot of confidence in anybody, nor should it. But when I look at Auburn this year, and by the way, standing next to Byron Brown today is massively impressive because he is a giant human as a quarterback. You can understand why, as a running threat, he's a problem, similar to Lenora Sellers, a big dude with great athleticism that's hard to get to the ground. That's why he's a 1,000-yard rusher. So look at Auburn. Their win total this year, over-under, is 6.5. Basically, odds makers are saying they're going to go 7-5 or 6-6. And when you look at the schedule, it kind of makes sense, okay? They got to go to Tennessee, to Georgia, to Ole Miss, at Mississippi State, at Alabama. They have 5 road conference games this year. That's tough, and they open up with Baylor. So you look at it, they also have Renna wins against Southern Miss and Samford. So Baylor, Southern Miss, Samford are the non-conference games for Auburn. So they'll be favored against Baylor. That's the opening Saturday of college football, 2:30 on ABC. That'll be before LSU plays Clemson September the 5th. So they play Baylor, where they're favored. Southern Miss at home, where they should win. They get Florida at home. And I'll remind you, Golish and Byron Brown beat Florida last year in Gainesville. Different team, John Summerall, I get it all, but this is a game at Jordan-Hare Stadium. Then they're home against Vanderbilt. Jared Curtis may end up being awesome, freshman 5-star quarterback, but that's still going to be the 4th start of his career. Early, and he's going to be on the road at Jordan-Hare Stadium. So they get back-to-back, so they get the neutral site game against Baylor, then they're home against Southern Miss, home against Florida, home against Vanderbilt. Then they're on the road at Tennessee, at Georgia, brutal back-to-back. Home against LSU, at Ole Miss. That 4-game stretch, they will probably lose all 4. At Tennessee, at Georgia, home against LSU, at Ole Miss. Like, I look at the spot from an LSU perspective, and I worry about the letdown because it's a tough spot for LSU where you're playing 8 straight weeks before your bye, and that 11 a.m. kickoff at Jordan-Hare Stadium just stinks. But Auburn's going to play Georgia in Athens the week before they play LSU. So that's going to be a really tough spot for Auburn because they do get the bye, by the way, after Tennessee. This is going to be a really tough spot for Auburn after Georgia to have to face LSU. So I feel better about that game. And then they're at Ole Miss. So that 4-game stretch, at Tennessee, open date, but at Georgia, LSU, at Ole Miss. They probably lose all 4. And then you go, if you start 4-0, then lose your next 4, then November determines what you are. Arkansas, at Mississippi State, Samford, which is a win, and then at Alabama. So Samford, I think, gets you to 5. Should beat Arkansas at home, which gets you to 6. And so then it's, can you win in Starkville or in Tuscaloosa in the Iron Bowl? If you somehow find a way to split those road conference games, then you're a 7-win football team, which I think is doable for Auburn this year. Getting to 8 is going to be a challenge because you're going to have to beat somebody on the road that you're not expecting to beat. Tennessee, Georgia, Ole Miss, State, or Alabama, those 5 road games. You're probably going to have to win 2 of those. So it's going to be interesting to watch if Alex Golish can start moving Auburn in the right direction, but he's got the right signal caller there in Byron Brown for year 1. All right, it's after further review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here as we put a button on hour number 2. When we come back, Marty Smith, our conversation, we've teased it enough. It was great to talk to Marty about his pursuit of Lane Kiffin that Thanksgiving weekend in Oxford, Mississippi. You're going to hear that when we come back. Our Tuesday shows are powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Hour 3 coming up right after SportsCenter.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Arco Power Systems, ARCCO, Arco.com, Industrial Generac Generator Power. That's what you get with Arco Power Systems. You know, we talk about home standby generators all the time. You know, when you talk about home standby generators, power goes out. Obviously, you know, generator kicks on and then powers your home. Great in the eye of a storm, in the face of a storm, or even just, you know, those pop-up storms that happen sometimes in Louisiana when, you know, the wind blows, the rain's heavy, knocks over a power line, and power goes out. Well, what about your business? That's where Arco comes in. If you can't afford to lose the productivity of being offline for hours, days, weeks, you need Arco Power Systems. When the power goes out and you need your business to continue being operational, you want Arco Power Systems. Turnkey solutions, industrial Generac generator power. It's Arco Power Systems, ARCCO, Arco.com, Arco.com, Arco.com.
Chuck Norris on National Chicken Finger Day. For every box combo sold on July 27th, Cane's is donating $1 to Chuck's Foundation. Kickstart Kids.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the new 2025 Jeep Wrangler with $18,000 off MSRP.
$18,000 off Jeep Wrangler plus the 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles.
If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
People think it's all about game day, but the real work happens in the off season, and we need a healthcare team that works as hard as we do.
At FMOL Health, our Lay of the Lake, we take care of LSU football year-round.
We trust the lake.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
When you can't rely on technology, you can rely on Mountain Cold Refreshment. Dave's back on. Coors Light. Choose chill.
Is Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. 22 days into LeBron James's NBA free agency, we are at the same point we were in day one, wondering which team he might choose. Agent Rich Paul on the Game Over podcast reminding everybody that LeBron won't be rushed into a decision. When he makes it, he'll make it. There could be a likely reason behind the lengthy wait for James, says ESPN senior NBA writer Mark J. Spears.
Everything sounds good till you sign. And once you sign, it's done. And for LeBron James, this is the final chapter probably, right? Whether it's a 1-year or 2-year chapter. So I think maybe that is the hesitancy. When you're done, this is going to be the end of your legacy.
The Red Sox will not be going for a franchise record-tying 15th straight win tonight. Their game against the Orioles postponed because of rain. It'll be made up tomorrow at 1:35 Eastern as part of a doubleheader. Tonight's Pirates-Yankees game also rained out, rescheduled for tomorrow at 7:05 Eastern in the second part of a doubleheader. Tennis, two-time defending champ Aryna Sabalenka and Wimbledon winner Jannik Sinner lead the field for next month's U.S. Open.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive Commercial Insurance can protect your small business with over 30 coverage options and easy-to-use mobile app, personalized discounts, and more. Get a quote in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Discounts and coverage selections not available in all states or situations.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Muse and Paul are back in studio. We're here at Radio Row, SEC Football Media Days, Day 2 wrapping up, but had a chance a bit ago to visit with Marty Smith, who really needs no introduction to the SEC football fan, but there's really only one. I had a very, very limited window to talk to Marty because he had a heart out because he had to go interview Kirby Smart, but I had to get him to talk about chasing Lane Kiffin around in Oxford the week of that weekend of Thanksgiving when everything was happening, and Marty didn't disappoint. Here's our conversation. Our coverage continues from Radio Row here at SEC Football Media Days Day 2. Very pleased to be joined by Marty Smith of ESPN. How are you, sir?
Baton Rouge. I'm great, man. It's been a great week already. You know, Ryan McGee and I get the great blessing of sitting across from all 16 coaches, a dozen star players, and the commissioner, and just really diving into these 20, 30-minute conversations about life. And it's not lost on us. What an incredible blessing that is. And I know you want to talk about Kiff. Yes. I can't wait to sit across from that guy.
What do you think? You've got to talk to him. I think he's always a very he's always he's a very calculated person, I think.
Smart.
What do you think his objective will be this week?
I think Lane thrives in chaos. I think that part of his objective will be to promote LSU as the premier destination for college football in the country. That seems to have been his narrative since he's gotten there. It's just different. Mm-hmm. And that's smart on his part. I'll be most intrigued to learn what he has learned about himself since he left Oxford for Baton Rouge, because they aren't the same job. Mm-hmm. He built, I'm starting to kind of get the shakes thinking about being back there and, on Thanksgiving weekend, and
we're about to go there,
waiting on his decision. But, it's such a different job at LSU. It just is. And I was on the record very loudly when he was still in the process of making his decision, or had not yet announced it, might be a better way to articulate it, that if I were him, I can't see why he would have left. I don't understand it, and here's the why. You go, okay, you've built a national championship caliber team, which is true, in Oxford, Mississippi. It's the greatest era of Ole Miss football ever. For the first time in 132 years of Rebel football, they won 11 regular season games when they beat State in the Egg Bowl. If you continue this and do win a national title, they're going to be babies named Lane from Gulfport to Olive Branch. There's going to be a statue outside. But the facts are, he found peace in himself. He found himself in Oxford. He found sobriety, which was huge for Lane. Mm-hmm. He and now he goes, okay, that's all wonderful. That's all true. But I have a greater chance to win a national title in Baton Rouge. And so after conversations with Coach Saban, Coach Carroll, he decided, I'm going to go to Baton Rouge. And if you look at the Tigers on paper, it's insane, the talent.
Yeah.
I mean, so I do think it's going to be there for him. I think he's going to have the opportunity to win a national title in Baton Rouge. And I know y'all are starved for it. It's been 6 years. The 2019 Tigers, by the way, are the greatest college football team of all time.
It's not even close, actually. Nope. People like to talk about 01 Miami, but I actually did a podcast with Brian Clark and Clinton Portis, who was on the 01 team years ago, and we went position by position, and it's actually not even remotely close. Marty Smith is with us. I want to go back to Thanksgiving weekend, because you did have you were the one person who had the vantage point you had. So you said when Lane announced that he was leaving, when did he decide?
I think he decided well before he announced it. Now I say well before. I'm not talking week. I'm not talking like a massive increment of time, but I think he knew, and he wasn't ready to tell the world because he desperately wanted to coach Ole Miss in the playoff.
Yeah.
Which is truly like an asinine assertion.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That doesn't work.
Never
Keith Carter could never allow that. They would run Keith out of Oxford if that were allowed. And so I understand why Lane felt that way. I built this team. This team responds to me, the whole thing. And then Pete went and won a couple college football playoff games with those guys. And so I would say, man, he's never, I don't know that specifically from Kiff, but if I was guessing, I would say days.
How did you get the I know you've told the story about the van getting the interview on the tarmac. Like you got the interview on the tarmac. Like how did that happen? Did you know, like walk me through that day, how you're like how that came to pass?
No, there was no knowing. So if I walk you through that day, I kind of have to back up to the night before because that was when I was kind of stranded on, the Saturday after Thanksgiving, and I'm doing live shots on every show, and I feel like I know that he's leaving. And so as the day progressed, I just started, as a reporter, it's our job to be accurate. That's the number one job, is to be accurate. And so until I got told by 3 sources he's gone, I wasn't willing to. Once I got to that place and I'm getting texts from very well established and positioned people, I'm like, okay, I think he's gone. I got all the way to like halftime of Stanford and Notre Dame, I think it was. Like it's 10:30 at night. And I learned that there was going to be a team meeting at 9 a.m. where Lane was going to address the team and then announce his decision. Go on TV and say that. Go to bed for a little while. We got into the parking lot at the Manning Center at 6 o'clock in the morning for a 9 a.m. meeting. God is my witness. Security guard comes over in a little like Impala. And he goes, "Hey, Marty, good morning. My name's Bubba."
Bubba.
Honest to God, my name's Bubba.
Of course it was.
He's one of the security guys at the Manning Center. Ole Miss, one of Ole Miss's police force. Awesome dude. He goes, "I just want you to know, man, they moved that meeting to 1. I went, "Bubba," and I said a few choice words. He goes, "I'm serious, man." So I start texting everybody, like, "Is this true?" It wound up being true. 1 o'clock, we get there. Players are filing in their, F-150 Raptors, and they're like, it's these kids are anyway.
The NIL era,
they got
man.
nicer trucks than I got. And so they do the meeting. Out walks. The meeting was like 10 minutes. Out walks players. And one of them, who's a prominent player, looked right at me and said, "Marty, it's the Pete Golding era." And I went, "Does that mean interim? Does that mean full-time?" So I'm blowing up everybody. Find out it's full-time. I then go to Kiff. I'm blowing up Kiff. "Where am I meeting you? I have to get this interview. We'll do it at the Super 8. We'll do it at the Graduate. I'll rent an Airbnb right now. We can go to your house, the Waffle House. I don't give a damn. I got to get you." And crickets. So we start tracking the airplanes. Verge, we start tracking Verge and those guys. And the planes originally were going to Tupelo.
You should have called me.
I know I should have called you. Exactly. Long story short, we realized that they're going to Oxford. Yeah. We go to Oxford Airport. I'm trying to be quick here. We go to Oxford Airport, and I'm standing at the very front of the Oxford Air FBO. I am not letting him get by us without me seeing him. I'm calling him. Finally, he calls me and goes, "Oxford Airport, 3 o'clock. I'm like, "Dude, I'm standing in front. You won't miss me." He gets there. He's like, "Where are you at?" I'm like, "I'm in front of the airport." He goes, "Oh, there's an entrance a mile down the road." And then we got in the van, and you guys know it from doing Pat's show, but honest to God, I'm on the phone with him driving this bread truck van. He's like, "You're going to see the fire department. When you see the fire department, take a left." I don't see no damn fire department. There, and my producer, Luis, is like, "There it is." I bang this left, and there are fire trucks and law enforcement just blocking the entrance. I bombed this thing off in the field, and honest to goodness, there's like a snow plow and a bush hog, and there's people flying around. We get up there, and he goes, we get out, and he's laughing. He's like, dude, you really are Scooby-Doo.
That's so good.
And we did the interview, and I will tell you this, in the aftermath of that, whether it is the Masters tournament, the PGA Championship, the Kentucky Derby this week, everywhere I go, people want to hear about that moment.
I appreciate you sharing it with us.
Insane. Just insanity. And I'll say one last thing, and I got to interview Kirby Smart right now, but at SEC coaches meetings, I happened upon Kiff and Golding together, and we had a funny little conversation about all of that will be in a book someday. So there you go.
Last time we talked to you was when we were promoting your book, so make sure you pick up Marty's book. You're very generous with your time. You've done an amazing thing in that in an industry where nobody is universally liked. You are someone who's universally liked, which I think speaks to you, your personality, your energy, zest for life, and we appreciate a couple of minutes.
Thank you for having me. Grateful. And I love your Jays. Those things are clean, bro.
Best compliment I've gotten all day.
I love you, Baton Rouge. We'll see you week 1.
Oh man, Marty Smith complimenting my Jordans on the way out. By the way, I'll show you for those who happen to be watching along. There they are right there. Little denim 2-tone blue, actually 3-tone blue. J high tops. Got to bring it. You got to bring it here on Radio Row at SEC Football Media Days. Appreciate Marty Smith. By the way, okay, I have a thought on the Marty Smith convo. I'm gonna come back to you. Let me remind you. FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, championship health partner of LSU Athletics. Our friends over at the Lake, incredible. I trust the Lake. My family, Drew, we go to Our Lady of the Lake Children's Hospital. He sees a GI doc. He sees a neurologist there. My own personal physician, Dr. Curtis Chastain, Our Lady of the Lake Men's Health Group. I'm telling you, it doesn't matter if it's pediatric care, if it's I cannot wait for the ribbon cutting just a few weeks back on the world-class Our Lady of the Lake Cancer Center. If it's heart health, stroke, you don't have to leave Baton Rouge to get world-class care. Our Lady of the Lake, championship health partner of LSU Athletics. FMOLhealth.org/LSU. FMOLhealth.org/LSU to learn more. People often ask, Lane Kiffin, Pete Golding, do they get along? Are they fighting? Are they feuding? What you just heard Marty say at the meetings that he, Lane, Pete Golding all had a funny moment. Like Lane talks oftentimes about the text groups, the text message groups. I think it is possible rivals on the field and get along, and I think Lane Kiffin and Pete Golding get along just fine. Okay, it's after further review. Let me knock out a quick break here. We'll come back. Had a chance as well to visit with our buddy Chris Doering of the SEC Network, get his thoughts on Lane Kiffin's move to LSU and the comments Jordan Rodgers made that it's championship or bust for Lane Kiffin here at year 1 at LSU. Doering reacts to that. You'll hear it next. Stay here. It's AFR.
After further review.
We're brought to you by Clegg's Nursery, 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Segan near Airline, LA 16 in Denham. Mid-City on Don Moore, Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Tell you every day, buy local, shop local. Go see our friends over at Clegg's Nursery. We just had Drew's birthday party this past weekend. If it's, those summer days hanging out by the pool, or if it's just because you want to get out, get a little exercise, man, just plant something. Get in the garden, get your hands dirty. As I say, you touch grass. It's real. Grounding's a real thing. Get your hands in the dirt. Connect with nature. Get outside. Get some vitamin D from the sun. Great opportunity, man, to do something with your children. Plant a garden, a vegetable garden. Grow natural vegetables in your backyard. Incredible that you could do with your kids. A fun activity. It's life lessons, it's exercise, it's awesome. It's Clegg's Nursery. You can do it all for you. You got Johnny Naylor seeds, you got beautiful flowers. Check them out. Buy local, shop local. Clegg's Nursery.
Bayou Ford is taking $13,000 off MSRP on the new 2026 Ford F-150 trucks.
Plus the complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs. Set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free confidential help now.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Live from the 2026 SEC Football Media Days in Tampa, presented by FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, Relief Windows, Rev Fiber, and Parish Construction and Roofing.
Our Chris Doering, SEC Network, good enough to hang out with us here for a couple of minutes. How are you?
I'm great, man. It's always good to see you, Matt. In person,
Thanks,
we talk a lot during the season, but face-to-face means we're here again and about to kick off another season.
Hey, man, everybody is talking about Lane. You guys, especially working for the network, I mean, you get to know him and see him and talk to him. By the way, he didn't participate in the coaches, the thing you and Peter are doing.
Yeah, the project that we are doing is the 6 coaches that are new to their respective schools in the SEC. Knocked out 5 of them, but we didn't get to get Lane. And
why?
I don't know. I don't know if his schedule was too busy or what. Obviously it was something we wanted to do. It didn't work out from a timing standpoint, but more what we wanted to do was serve the fan base, is to understand who these people are outside of the coaching side of things, the people. And Lane kind of to himself a lot, so maybe he was a little resistant. I don't know.
So we are all, you can appreciate that. We're all still getting to know Lincoln.
How is your access in Baton Rouge?
So in spring, he gave us incredible access to practice.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Chris, we got to watch full practices,
which is unheard of now.
I don't think most people really understand. Like media, maybe you get like 15
Warm-ups.
minutes of stretch and like in Tiger Stadium, 2-hour scrimmage, come watch the whole thing. Don't take video, but come watch the whole thing. Like that's incredible. But Lane still has not done a single local media interview with anybody. So my point is, and it's his program, it's his prerogative. He can do what he wants. But we're all still trying to get to know him. So you've known him and covered him for a long time. So give me your perspective. I say, man, if you were to describe Lane Kiffin to somebody, what would you say?
I would have to say that he.
Look at that face.
I would say I've come to get a great relationship with him. You know, I would say that there are a lot of layers to Lane Kiffin. There's things that have been able to relate very well with him on. I don't know if it's an issue when that I was a Florida guy, and there was a time that he was maybe coming to Florida and it didn't work out or what. But man, I respect the hell out of his offensive genius. I mean, when Coach Saban talks about a guy and puts up with some of the things he had to because of what Lane could do offensively, respect the hell out of that and what he's done. I mean, even the Ole Miss thing, like he took Ole Miss to heights that they never would have been. Was the exit executed the way that I would have done it? Probably not, but you can't begrudge a guy for going to do something in a place that he wants to go do it in. But I just think he's a very diverse guy with some different nuance to him than most of us have. But I think he's intriguing as well. For a couple week period of time, that was what everybody was talking about. Forget the SEC world, the sports world. That was like a human interest story across all social media.
I say he's never boring, which is amazing for us, right? But I want to ask, like, former All-American wide receiver Chris Doering played in the NFL. I want to talk to that guy for a second about Lane. You just said he's a brilliant offensive mind. Why? Like, nerd out on me a little bit. What makes him so good offensively?
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about a couple different things, from understanding defenses and how think about his dad was one of the best defensive minds around, and so understanding what defenses are doing, where they're vulnerable, and how to draw plays up that put them in binds or take advantage of. Every defense has a place that you go to attack it. That's one of the things I think I learned from Coach Spurrier very well was, all right, this coverage, here's where we're going to attack it. And I don't know that there's many people that see things the way that Coach Spurrier does, but when I watch Lane Kiffin on the sideline, when he's throwing the play sheet up before the plays, he knows exactly what's coming. He understands what tendencies and the vulnerabilities that defenses have. I think that he sees things in a very different way than a lot of people do.
It's astonishing when I look at some of the offenses at Ole Miss that, I mean, CD, you're talking about top 10 offenses in America, all but 1 year that he was at Ole Miss, or maybe it was top 12. Either way, point is that they were all elite, but a lot of those offenses didn't even put players into the NFL. Like Jackson Dart was a first-rounder quarterback, but outside of Dart, the offense 2 years ago didn't have another guy drafted. Mm-hmm. So what do you think is the talent difference from what he had at Ole Miss to what he will have at LSU? I mean, what's the possibility there?
Well, I think the talent has improved significantly in Oxford towards the end of his time there. And with the collective, I think the Grove Collective is one of the best collectives around in the SEC. So they've been able to build that roster and retain the roster a lot better than a lot of other schools have. But I mean, LSU's shown that they're all in. One of the things I thought was interesting, Jordan Rodgers said yesterday, was that with all the allocation of money to this year, that it's championship or bust, the championship game or bust. I would disagree a little bit. To me, it's playoff or bust, but I think the expectation is incredibly high. And it's not you don't get that ramp up period anymore because of the need for the instant return on investment, because of what Signetti did at Indiana. Like, you don't have the luxury of building a program, nor do I think Lane wants to make an excuse for that. I think he expects to go to the playoff in year one.
Bro, Signetti ruined it for
everyone, right? Yeah.
Like,
at Indiana, the losingest program in the history of football until last year.
What's your excuse? Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like,
I'm doing it in Indiana. So Clark Lee doing it at Vanderbilt. I mean, 10 wins last year at Vanderbilt to do it in the league's crazy.
I was listening to you and Peter earlier today a bit. We're kind of peeling back the layer a little bit. It is interesting because I think we all assume Vandy's going to step back without Pavia. Yeah. I don't know a thing about Jared Curtis. Mm-hmm. I mean, I just know he was
I don't think any of us do outside of that. He was a 5-star coming out, flipped from Georgia to Vanderbilt, which was unprecited.
Right. Welcome to the NIL era. But do you think Clark Lee will sustain success at Vanderbilt? I'm not saying he's going to keep winning 10-2, but can he sustain?
I think they can sustain. I've always felt like Vanderbilt, underachieved in a couple different things. Like, Nashville's a tremendous sports town. You look at when the Titans went there, how passionate that fan base became out of nowhere, or the Predators. Like, you give them a reason to come out, watch games in a stadium, the renovated stadium. I haven't been there yet. I don't know if you've seen it in person.
Yeah, I was there last year.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like a totally different situation, right? So
they have freaking condos in the end zone, CD. It's incredible.
You can bring in people that aren't necessarily Vanderbilt associated, fans. Secondly, you're in a metropolitan area like Nashville where these guys were superstars in that city.
Yeah.
So you got money that maybe some of the other smaller college towns in the SEC don't have. So I think you can build a roster, but also like you go look, the defense has a lot of returning starters on it. They understand how to build an offensive line. You know, you get receiver, running backs back. I mean, there's a lot of talent around. If they can figure out the Jared Curtis aspect of it this year, I think they have a chance to, again, have a very, very good season. And, you know, take this with a grain of salt, but I think Vanderbilt has a more manageable schedule than some SEC teams do.
Yeah. It's Vandy and Georgia have the two by statistically, quote unquote, weakest schedule. I mean, there was no such thing as an easy schedule in the SEC, but Chris Doering by the way, did you see Junior Sherrill earlier today?
I haven't met him in person yet, no.
He was wearing no sleeves.
Was he?
I've never seen that at media days ever.
Well, was it his official media day outfit?
Yeah. He had a bow tie.
Oh, really?
And in a chain, so he had a lot of the drip, but no sleeves.
Because we had Clark Lee on TV, and I was like, "Bro, you dressed down this year." He goes, I'm actually going to go change before we come up.
The golf shirt on.
A sleeveless shirt with chains is not associated with Vanderbilt, but I think that's part of changing the narrative of who Vanderbilt is now, right?
Short on time. I want to ask you about the Gators. I wish I paid more attention to John Summerall at Tulane.
Here's the problem for you, all right, and the rest of the SEC. You guys, you're not going to help yourself but like John Summerall. Like
that's my point, CD. Like at the end of when it started, when Kelly got fired, I started to pay attention. Like this could happen with Summerall, and they went all in. We know what happened, but like I love John Summerall.
Yeah.
I'm like, why didn't I pay more attention covering this guy when he was at Tulane?
The ironic part about it is too the jobs that came open during this cycle. You know, a couple of them, Coach Summerall had been at. Kentucky hates the fact that Summerall's at Florida, and you know they got a great one at Will Stein, but you know they love him up there. He was in Oxford for a period of time. If not Pete Golding, they would have loved to have had Summerall there. Everybody in Gainesville was all in on Lane Kiffin, and I think they've quickly seen that sometimes, you know, the old Garth Brooks song, "Thank God for Unanswered Prayers."
Yeah.
You get the guy that you need, not necessarily that you want.
It's going to be if this is the way I'd say it. If John Summerall had ended up the LSU coach, I would have been pumped about that.
You would have been pumped after you got to know him a little bit more, because I think, you know, everybody in Gainesville, he's got the same sort of resume as Billy Napier does. Yeah. These dudes are two totally different dudes. And I say this too, the staff that Florida's put together is a much more accomplished, much more diverse staff, I think, than the previous one that was built under Billy Napier.
Okay, real quick before we go, I asked this to Peter Burns. I'll ask you, what's your favorite cereal?
Man, I've gone a more healthy cereal now.
As a kid.
Raisin Bran.
Raisin Bran was your
I liked it. My parents wouldn't buy me sugary cereal. I probably I had Honey Smacks back. It used to be Sugar Smacks, and it became Honey Smacks as a marketing kind of twist. I did go with that.
With the little frog on the thing.
Yeah, the frog.
Oh, dude, as a former fat kid, I ate every fat cereal you could imagine.
No, I like
was
that.
all over that.
But I try to get the organic cereals now.
Saturday morning cartoon. What was your favorite?
Scooby-Doo. The old Scooby-Doo before Scrappy-Doo. Scrappy-Doo came in and ruined the whole thing, but Scooby-Doo where they're solving mysteries and the whole, that was my deal.
The Mystery Machine.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah.
How much you bench?
Man, I still think I could rep 225 a couple times. Probably.
So you don't bench much?
I don't max out bench much.
Yeah.
No.
I haven't maxed out probably since high school.
Well, we shouldn't be maxing out at this point. You know, it's not good for our joints.
I'd be curious just to see.
What's do you deadlift or hang clean?
No, I have awful chronic back issues. So anything weight bearing is really. I do mostly body weight. Like I do 1 million push-ups.
Yeah.
But
I try to move heavy weight because it stimulates the growth hormone. Like I'm trying to stay young.
Growth hormone and for neurological benefits.
Yeah.
Lift heavy weights.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah. Grip strength too. You know what? Last year in our SiriusXM room, we had the grip strength test, and Commissioner Sankey didn't like the way he performed last year. Today's like, where's the thing? I've been practicing. I went and got one. He's been working on that. Evidently, grip strength is a determining factor on longevity in life.
Grip strength. So too are the strength of your feet, believe it or not.
Really?
And your toes. You know, we're nerding out now. You should be able to command your toes, be able to spread your toes. Did you know that?
Yeah, I don't know that I can.
And did you know, probably from wearing cleats all your life, did you know that your toes should be the widest part of your foot?
Really?
But we all wear shoes that taper. And
My feet are devastated because I would wear the cleats that were similar to soccer cleats, and you cutting and jamming it. My toenails are
terrible.
just disasters. It's not good.
You need to let them puppies breathe.
I know.
You got to let those dogs bark.
Yeah.
Let them out for a little bit. You're the man.
Yeah, appreciate you, man.
Thanks,
Matty.
Chris Doering. Chris Doering, SEC Network, Gator great. Boy, did he wreck LSU when he was at Florida. But great perspective on the SEC, great energy. Love having Chris Doering. We appreciate the time. We're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020. 924-2020. You want to see 2020? Call 924-2020 for the Williamson Eye Center. I saw a post today, y'all. Dr. Blake, I tell you this all the time. He goes all over the world to lecture. I saw this post on the Williamson Eye Center socials earlier today. Dr. Blake is in Australia. He's one of 8, I want to make sure I have this correct. Here it is. One of 8 surgeons representing the United States of America at the Australian Society of Cataract and Refractive Surgeons. He lectured during the lens knockout rounds on the Odyssey toric intraocular lens for cataract and lens replacement surgery, which he was the first surgeon in the world to implant after its commercial release. I tell you all the time, man, like you literally have the best in the world in Baton Rouge and Dr. Blake Williamson. So they fly him down to Australia to go present at this conference because he was the first in the world to do this procedure. He's the best. Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020, 924-2020, or williamsoneye.com. Williamson, EYE.com. All right, y'all, glad you're hanging out with us here on this Tuesday edition of AFR. We roll along from Radio Row at SEC Football Media Days. The only school we've yet to talk about so far today is Vanderbilt. We knocked out South Carolina, Georgia, and Auburn. We'll get to Vandy when we come back, and then we'll also make sure we preview day 3 before we get out of here. Stick around with us here as we roll along in hour number 3 from Radio Row at SEC Football Media Days.
After further review.
Hey, if you're thinking of putting in a pool, I want you to call my friends over at Duplessis Pools. DuplessisPools.com, DuplessisPools.com, or you better yet just go to the website, DuplessisPools.com. Start there. It's awesome. The interface on the website is just so user-friendly. And honestly, even if you're not thinking about putting in a pool, it's just a really cool thing to go do. Like, there's the pick your pool option right there on the homepage. Select which of the 11 designs you like the best, and then just start picking out all of your features, and it'll build it for you in a 3D model like that. It's at DuplessisPools.com, DuplessisPools.com. You can even work out finance. You can pay for it right there. You can get on the schedule right there within 5 minutes. Go to the website, DuplessisPools.com. Derek Duplessis and his team voted a top 50 pool builder in America for the 2nd consecutive year, the only Louisiana pool builder to receive that recognition. DuplessisPools.com, DuplessisPools.com.
Jordan Faber here with some exciting news. Faber Automotive has officially arrived. We're proud to introduce your new hometown dealership, Faber Chevrolet GMC. That means more inventory, better deals, and the same great local team. Now backed by the trusted Faber family name. Whether you're shopping or servicing, you'll feel the difference from day one. Allow us the opportunity to earn your business.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Visit us in St. Francisville or online at FabryChevrolet.com.
The Ascension Parish Sheriff's Office protects and serves over 132,000 residents across the parish.
Keeping our community safe is our mission, and Rev Fiber plays a critical role in how we respond. Whether it's training in our special divisions, forensics investigations, or fielding emergency calls in our operations center, Rev Business connects our teams in real time, which is why we partner with Rev Business.
Get 6 months free of Rev Business services. Call or click today.
People think it's all about game day. Let's go! But the real work happens in the off season.
Spring practices, early lifts, extra reps.
And we need a healthcare team that works as hard as we do.
At FMOL Health, our lay of the lake, we take care of LSU football year-round.
So we can do what we do best.
We trust the lake.
From championship athletes to everyday champions, trusted care starts here.
Community sailing is all about getting people in the New Orleans area out on boats, out on Lake Pontchartrain. Gulf Coast Bank helps us provide opportunities to get folks out who might not otherwise have the financial means to come sailing. Auctions in August is an online fundraiser that helps nonprofits like us service the community. Bidding through Auctions in August is a lot of fun because there's so many different items. There's something for everyone, so you're sure to find something that relates directly to you that you'll enjoy bidding on, and you get to help out the community.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our number one product's always customer satisfaction. Come visit us at reliefwindows.com. By the way, we do shutters too.
Hey everybody, Drew Brees here. Over the years, I've learned that the best teams are built on trust, preparation, and doing things the right way. That's one of the reasons I'm excited to announce that the Brees Dream Foundation and I are partnering with Parish Construction and Roofing. Together, we are committed to helping families prepare for hurricane season. That's why Parish Construction and Roofing, the Brees Dream Foundation, and WAFB are partnering to provide one capital area family with a brand new fortified roof. Visit WAFB.com/contest to enter the giveaway and view official rules and eligibility requirements. Because stronger homes build stronger communities.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your...
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Live from the 2026 SEC Football Media Days in Tampa. Presented by FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, Relief Windows, Rev Fiber, and Parish Construction and Roofing.
Let me be clear. Progress is not the destination. Last season was not an arrival. It was simply another step in the climb. Our objective remains what it's always been, to build the best football program in the country. And while progress is encouraging, complacency is dangerous. The moment we turn to protect the ground we've covered, we stop our pursuit of what's possible at Vanderbilt. We must be willing to risk what we are for what we could become.
Clark Lee taking his turn earlier on Tuesday in the main room. Not the greatest orator, but incredibly impressive in a different kind of way. My first extensive one-on-one interaction with Clark Lee was when we were in Houston for the Bryant Awards, and he sat down with us on the show and really enjoyed the conversation. But when I heard that Clark Lee cut, I couldn't help but think of what we talked about when Clark Lee had his first ever SEC Media Days in 2021. And it was the last year we were in Hoover, and he talked about Vanderbilt being the best job in the country. And I probably audibly laughed because Vanderbilt is not the best job in the country. It's one of the worst jobs in the country. But in his mind, that's always been the mindset. And what's so interesting, too, about the arc of Clark Lee at Vanderbilt, that first year they went 2-10, 0-8 in the conference. And then he went 5-7. And it's like, okay, well, look at this. And the thought was, okay, then the next year, can they get to a bowl eligibility? They didn't. They backslid. They went 2-10, 0-8 in the league. And so they went 2-10, 0-8 to 5-7 to 2-10, 0-8 again. And there was a lot of thought at that point that after that 2-10 season, a second winless season in 3 years, that Vandy may move on. But they stuck with it. And most importantly, they brought in Diego Pavia. And in 2024, they went 6-6, won the Birmingham Bowl, upset Alabama. We all know the story. And then from there they built and went 10-2 a season ago. Lost the ReliaQuest Bowl to finish 10-3. But now you look and you go, okay, what is life like now without Diego Pavia? And that's what Clark Lee was asked earlier today.
You know, I think there's so much attention being given right now to how this offense will take shape, specifically who's going to take the snaps. And though that is an important question, what I'm more interested in ahead of training camp is how is this team strengthening in all the other areas that will support that position. So the mission is winning. That certainly hasn't changed. So what are we going to do defensively? You know, how are we going to perform better on third down to generate more possessions, to get opportunity to an offense that I know is going to have the ability to move the ball? Offensive line play. You know, I think we replaced a lot of snaps with a lot of snaps, and I think we feel really good right now about where that group is. How are they going to win the point of attack and establish a line of scrimmage dominance that allows for this run game to get going? because Seti Alexander and MK Young are two of the best, most talented backs in our conference. And if all of a sudden these things are falling into place and we're strengthening in those other areas, you've just lifted burden off the guy that's taking the snaps.
The conversation, of course, is going to be about the guys taking the snaps, and that's very likely going to be five-star freshman Jared Curtis, who flipped from Georgia to Vanderbilt. Only possible in the NIL era. In no other reality would a five-star quarterback flip from Georgia to Vanderbilt, but that's the world that we live in, and that's why Indiana can win a national championship, why Vanderbilt can win 10 games, and why sustained success at Vanderbilt feels possible. And you talked about the running game there. Remember, Vanderbilt has the weird thing where they cross-train their offensive linemen. They'd switch sides of the line, switch guard to tackle. And Clark Lee is recruiting a very specific type of athlete for their system. So I will be fascinated to see if that offense can continue to operate. And part of me feels like you can replace Diego Pavia's productivity. But in removing Diego Pavia, it's cutting off the head of the snake, because he provides something for Vanderbilt, the energy, the leadership, all of that is not easily replaceable, and certainly by a freshman quarterback. Now, Vegas has the win total for Vandy this year over under 5.5. So won 10 games a year ago. They're at 5.5. And you look at the schedule, and you can kind of see why the odds makers landed there. They open up with Austin Peay and Delaware. Okay, so they're going to open up 2-0. Then they get NC State at home. And NC State could present problems because they have a super dynamic quarterback at NC State. Look, there was a flirtation there with the transfer portal is that we discussed this offseason when LSU was looking for a quarterback, because C.J. Bailey last year threw for 3,100 yards and ran for 215, but that's a guy that there was some conversation around. Ultimately stayed at NC State, but he is a dynamic player. That game is in Nashville at Vanderbilt, so they got a good shot of starting 3-0. But the road conference games are what you look at and you go, okay, where are the layups? And maybe it's just the way we're programmed, because forever we've perceived Vanderbilt as the layup. Well, LSU learned a year ago and Bama learned 2 years ago. That ain't the case no more. At Auburn, at Georgia, home against Ole Miss, home against Arkansas. That's probably the game where they're going to be most heavily favored, home against Arkansas. At Kentucky, at Mississippi State. 2 winnable games, but both on the road. Bama at home, at Florida, and they finish at home against Tennessee. I think they'll beat Austin Peay and Delaware, and I think they can beat NC State. That's 3. Can you go 3-6 in the conference when you have road games against Auburn, Georgia, and Florida, and home conference games against Ole Miss, Bama, and Tennessee? That means you got to win at Kentucky, at Mississippi State, and win at home against Arkansas. You do that, you're 6-6. But 6-6 doesn't feel like what Clark Lee is after. So what type of magic does the freshman Jared Curtis have? That will be an interesting test case, because I look at the SEC this year, and one thing that just being here for the last 2 days, and you talk to everybody from who covers these teams, who covers the league, the coaches, the players, and you hear them talk. I think half the league has playoff expectations. Bama, Georgia, LSU, Oklahoma, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Texas A&M, Texas. Those 8 programs all feel like they should be in the playoff this year. SEC ain't getting 8 in the playoff. So half of those are going to be really disappointed. But it's the teams that aren't playoff contenders that could be good, and this is the depth of the league, and why a 9th conference game could be devastating for this conference and its playoff aspirations. Arkansas, Auburn, Florida, Kentucky, Mississippi State, Missouri, South Carolina, Vanderbilt. The other half of the league, it feels like any one of those teams is capable of beating someone they got no business beating. And when you're playing a 9-game league schedule, that complicates things. It complicates the math. So one of the biggest talking points this week, and justifiably so. All right, it's after further review. I always love telling you about Evamore, EVAMOR. I miss it, to be honest. They're very kind here, and they do provide us with bottled water, but it ain't Evamore. EVAMOR, Evamore.com. Drink Evamore. You can find Evamore at great local retailers. And I know they have it in Tampa because Cobble yesterday found an Evermore truck driving around here in Tampa. He took a picture and texted it to me. But I'm telling you, it's national distribution. So no matter where you're listening or watching, go to evamore.com, EVAMOR, evamore.com, and hit the Find a Store tab. Type in your zip code, and boom, it'll pull up the location near you where you can find Evermore, or you can buy it online at evamore.com, EVAMOR, evamore.com. Okay, y'all, it is after further review our coverage here from SEC Football Media Days presented by Parrish Construction and Roofing, Rev Fiber, Relief Windows, and FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake. We appreciate so much our great sponsors for making this coverage possible. We'll put a button on day 2 when we come back and give you a preview of what's coming up on day 3 here from SEC Football Media Days. Don't you move. It's AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Watermark Baton Rouge and Renaissance Baton Rouge. Watermark Downtown, Renaissance Southtown. Watermark is Baton Rouge's premier hotel property. Not me saying it. You voted them best hotel in the best of 225. And you walk into Watermark Baton Rouge and you get it. It is the picture of a quintessential luxury hotel. The original Louisiana National Bank building down on the corner of 3rd and Convention. You can enter from 3rd or from Convention Street. In the lobby, you see all the beautiful marbling that they've maintained so much of that historical integrity, the artwork, the original artwork in the building, in the lobby. But they've added so many modern amenities. The lobby bar at Watermark is gorgeous. We tell you all the time about the Gregory. Awesome dining experience right there. And look, if you're worried about parking, complimentary, if you're dining at the Gregory, complimentary valet parking always when you're dining at the Gregory. Planning an event, make sure you check out Watermark Baton Rouge. Downtown, it's Watermark Baton Rouge.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our #1 product's always customer satisfaction. Come visit us at reliefwindows.com. By the way, we do shutters too.
People think it's all about game day, but the real work happens in the off season. And we need a healthcare team that works as hard as we do.
At FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, we take care of LSU football year-round.
We trust the lake.
Eagle 98.1, the rock station. Home of the Woody Show in the morning. Scotty Mack with Rock at Work. Michelle Southern with Southern Rock. Home of LSU sports since 1998. And rock for Baton Rouge since 1985. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. To join our VIP fan club, text ROCK to 225-499-9898. Eagle 98.1, the rock station.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish.
Love telling you about River Parish Contractors, rpcontractors.com. You know, when your next turnaround begins, when the next capital project moves from planning to execution, you know, when downtime isn't an option, who do you trust to deliver? At River Parish Contractors, they've built an organization designed for today's industrial challenges. At River Parish Contractors, they got more than 500 employees. It's incredible, the size and the growth. And they've got dedicated project management. They've got safety and quality professionals and a 32,000 square foot automated pipe and structural steel fabrication facility, 9 full-time estimators. All that to say, they have the size, the scale, the scope, the ability to manage your biggest, most complex jobs. It's River Parish Contractors, built for bigger challenges. Check them out online. Start there at rpcontractors.com, rpcontractors.com.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Live from the 2026 SEC Football Media Days in Tampa. Presented by FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, Relief Windows, Rev Fiber, and Parish Construction and Roofing.
Down the stretch we come. Final segment here on a Tuesday edition of AFR. Shout out to Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. So we put a button on this day where Georgia, Auburn, South Carolina, and Vanderbilt took their turn. And to be very candid, the first 2 days, they sort of eased into these first 2 days. But the heavy hitters start rolling through on Wednesday. The day starts with Kalen DeBoer, the Alabama Crimson Tide, and Florida will follow. So we'll get another first-year head coach in John Summerall. Now, of course, LSU and Alabama will play in November in Tiger Stadium. They're bringing Zabian Brown, Ryan Coleman-Williams, Ryan Williams, receiver, now goes by Ryan Coleman-Williams, hyphenated last name, and then Bray Hubbard, their fantastic DB. So no quarterback from Alabama coming on Wednesday, but Kalen DeBoer will be here. And it's such an interesting thing to have this conversation about Bama because the thing that we've talked about so much, the conversation, this event for so many years revolved around Nick Saban showing up in the circus there. Alabama's an afterthought. Maybe that's where they want to be. Maybe a little underappreciated, undervalued. But they've lost 4 games in consecutive years. I know they were 10-2 a year ago, and they won a playoff game. But they got dump trucked by Georgia in the SEC championship game and got obliterated by Indiana. They are just not a championship contender. And now they're going to be playing a young quarterback. So how do they sort through that quarterback battle with very likely Keelan Russell being the guy? So Bama, then Florida, of course, John Summerall. Jaden Ball will be here, running back from Florida who flirted with the portal, ultimately decided to stay at Florida. Or Vernell Brown will be here, Miles Graham as well. And then Pete Golding, his first media days as the head coach of the Ole Miss Rebels. And Trinidad Chambliss and Keywan Lacey will be here along with Will Eccles, their awesome defensive tackle. All of the conversation about Lane begins in earnest tomorrow because all of these Ole Miss guys will be asked about the end of the season, the turnover, why they decided to stay. I'm going to be fascinated to see what Trinidad Chambliss says to contrast it with what he said so far, because the story has continued to change quite a bit from Trinidad Chambliss as he's been asked about his decision and so forth throughout his time there at Ole Miss. So Ole Miss will begin the afternoon session, and then they'll wrap up the day with Texas A&M and Mike Elko. Marcel Reed will be here, a playoff team a season ago. Now, can they build on that? Of course, they're in College Station in advance in the playoffs. With Marcel Reed back, and I just always look at Texas A&M and Mike Elko being a great defensive coach, and I just look and I say, you got the quarterback and you got the defense. As long as Mike Elko is there, they're going to be good on defense the same way that is wherever Lane Kiffin is, they're always going to be good on offense. And I just sort of assume that to be the case. So can Marcel Reed take that step in the big games to be a great quarterback and a reason why they win? We'll start to get those answers with Texas A&M wrapping up the day on Wednesday. So 2 days down, 2 days to go here from Radio at SEC Football Media Days. Again, sincere thanks to Our Lady of the Lake, Relief Windows, Rev Fiber, and Parish Construction and Roofing. Muse Pauly back in studio. Rivers producing here on site. We appreciate y'all for watching. You miss anything, catch AFR on demand. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, remind you about First South Farm Credit. Thinking of buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. Go to firstsouthfarmcredit.com. Firstsouthfarmcredit.com. Y'all, you know we're getting close now to hunting season. Fall's almost here. And for so many people, the new year is when the phone rings a ton because you finish up hunting season, you're sharing that lease, and you're hunting on someone else's property, and you say, I'm never doing that again. I want a place of my own. And that's when a lot of that activity gets started. But maybe this is that time where you're starting to prep that hunting property, getting ready for hunting season. You're thinking about what could be next. First South Farm Credit. For more than 100 years, First South Farm Credit has done one thing: help Louisianians buy land. So if you're thinking of buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. Go to firstsouthfarmcredit.com. That's firstsouthfarmcredit.com. More than 40 branches across 3 different states that can help you buy land anywhere in the lower 48. firstsouthfarmcredit.com.
Raising Cane's is honoring Chuck Norris on National Chicken Finger Day. For every box combo sold on July 27th, Cane's is donating $1 to Chuck's Foundation, Kickstart Kids.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the new 2025 Jeep Wrangler with $18,000 off MSRP.
$18,000 off Jeep Wrangler plus the 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles.
If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. We are honored and humbled to receive from our clients in Google. Based on 5-star client reviews, the designation of our law firm is highly recommended. Whether you hire us at all, please give us a call, 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. Injuries happen when you least expect them to, making your life more complicated. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, we know this and we strive to help each of our clients during these times. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
At Relief Windows, we're more than windows. We're windows, doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. But our #1 product's always customer satisfaction. Come visit us at reliefwindows.com. By the way, we do shutters too.
Hey everybody, Drew Brees here. Over the years, I've learned that the best teams are built on trust, preparation, and doing things the right way. That's one of the reasons I'm excited to announce that the Breeze Dream Foundation and I are partnering with Parish Construction and Roofing. Together, we are committed to helping families prepare for hurricane season. That's why Parish Construction and Roofing, the Breeze Dream Foundation, and WAFB are partnering to provide one capital area family with a brand new fortified roof. Visit WAFB.com/contest to enter the giveaway and view official rules and eligibility requirements. Because stronger homes build stronger communities.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Wall-to-wall TVs mean you'll see every touchdown in HD. Place your bets and feel the thrill of every play with our DraftKings Sportsbook. The Queen Casino, where every moment